Chapter 37:14. Jiang Chen's worry was not without reason. Dan Qiushang was attacking crazily, but the Saint-grade medicinal pill seized the opportunity. Dan Qiushang had completely lost his initial advantage and became extremely passive. Because of his son's death, he was still brooding over the Saint-grade medicinal pill. Even Emperor Tianqi's words had been thrown out of his mind because Emperor Tianqi was a big scam. "Give me back my son." Dan Qiushang's eyes were bloodshot. At this moment, he had completely lost his mind and was unable to maintain his peak state. He only had 50% to 60% of his battle strength. Wasn't it a joke to fight against the Saint-grade medicinal pill? Jiang Chen had already expected this result. The sword 22 was just cutting through thistles and thorns. However, this fatty was also quite agile. His slender but incomparably hard arms clashed with the heavenly dragon sword several times. Jiang Chen was forced back by the Saint-grade medicinal pill's terrifying might. Jiang Chen was incomparably solemn. At this moment, even if the Saint-grade medicinal pill did not have the might of an Emperor Realm expert, it was almost at the empty Emperor Realm. However, it was much stronger than Dan Qiushang. "Ungrateful fellow," the Saint-grade medicinal pill said in a low voice. Both of his hands turned into two steel rods and continuously pierced through Dan Qiushang's body, tearing him into pieces. Dan Qiushang was covered in blood and he was extremely angry. However, he did not stop at all. He had no regrets fighting against the Saint-grade medicinal pill until the last moment. In order to avenge his son, he had already lost himself. In the end, even Jiang Chen felt that it was a pity. Dan Qiushang and Jiang Chen were obviously able to control the Saint-grade medicinal pill together. However, Dan Qiushang was too violent and too eager for quick success. This made Jiang Chen not know whether to laugh or cry. In the blink of an eye, Dan Qiushang was swallowed whole by the Saint-grade medicinal pill. Even his soul was not spared. That horrifying scene caused Jiang Chen's heart to be incomparably solemn. His face was grim, and he didn't dare to be careless. That sound even caused the medicinal pill to burp, patting its big belly in satisfaction. And at this moment, the big fatty's body shook as he transformed into an extremely beautiful woman. She was wearing a thin muslin dress, and her fingers were gently sucking. Her eyes were like ripples, and there was a soul-stirring charm in them. She bit her red lips lightly, and her jade-like legs were slender as she slowly walked over. "You can call me Hong Xiu. My favorite thing in my life is to eat you self-righteous humans. And you are my best dinner." Hong Xiu continued to move closer to Jiang Chen. Step by step, she was like a fairy dancing alone. Her body was like a swan as she approached Jiang Chen. She was like a wisp of breeze, and the air was filled with fragrance. Jiang Chen subconsciously took a few steps back. Even though Hong Xiu's eyes were like ripples that could captivate one's soul, he was not so easily hypnotized. Even the Saint-grade medicinal pill could not be compared to his soul. Moreover, Jiang Chen had seen a lot of beautiful women, and it was not something that she could imagine. Hong Xiu used her beauty to seduce Jiang Chen. Her hands were like lightning, and her figure was extremely fast. The moment she approached Jiang Chen, her palm turned into a blade and slashed downwards. "Ghosts and monsters, demons and ghosts, you want to disturb my mind? Dream on." Jiang Chen stabilized his state of mind. He raised his heavenly dragon sword, the limitless sword, and slayed the demons. Jiang Chen activated the ancient soaring dragon technique, and his strength increased again, reaching the realm of half-step Emperor Realm. At that moment, both of them were constantly intertwining in the void. Jiang Chen's strength collided with Hong Xiu's several times. Both of them were evenly matched. Jiang Chen used all his means and did not dare to be careless. Failure meant death, so he did not leave much time and opportunity for himself. The horror of the Saint-grade medicinal pill was completely beyond his imagination. As time passed, Jiang Chen could feel that Hong Xiu's strength was constantly increasing. After devouring 8 people, it was reasonable for her strength to increase. However, it made things difficult for Jiang Chen. Hong Xiu was getting more and more courageous. He could only give it his all. This was his last chance. 22 swords. Facing Hong Xiu, Jiang Chen did not have the slightest feeling of being protective of the fairer sex. If he continued to be protective of the fairer sex, he would die here. However, his 22 swords did not really threaten Hong Xiu's existence. The Saint-grade medicinal pill was traceless. Wherever the sword pointed, it seemed to pose no threat to her at all. You are still too inexperienced to kill me. Even that guy in the empty Emperor realm is just a defeated opponent of mine. Ha ha ha. I advise you to quickly surrender. This will save us some time, won't it? I'll definitely eat you up gently, very gently. Ha! Hong Xiu giggled. Her figure was graceful and charming. However, in front of Jiang Chen, even if she was a peerless beauty, she was just a skeleton. Her honey trap was used on the wrong person. The limitless sword could not penetrate Hong Xiu's body. Jiang Chen could only withdraw his sword. His eyes were solemn. His palm whistled and a storm gathered. His hand seal changed and became extremely terrifying. The power of Dao accumulation was constantly flowing in the palm of Jiang Chen. You actually have the power of Dao accumulation? You have comprehended your own great way? Hong Xiu was surprised. Her pretty face turned from green to white. She seemed to be in complete disbelief. Even among the Emperor Realm experts, there are only a few who have comprehended the Great Way. How is this possible? Hong Xiu was surprised by Jiang Chen's strength. However, the monstrous palm seal that was condensed in his hand was indeed the power of Dao accumulation. Hung Tian seal. Jiang Chen was not distracted. He did not have the slightest hesitation. Since she did not believe it, then he would let her see how terrifying and powerful his power of Dao accumulation was. The storm flowed and the Hung Tian seal that was condensed from the power of Dao accumulation struck out. Hong Xiu did not dare to be negligent. She exerted all her strength and attacked with all her might. However, she was still forced to retreat. Before she could recover from her shock, Jiang Chen's second Hung Tian seal had already arrived. Hong Xiu did not dare to have the slightest hesitation. She quickly retreated to avoid the sharp edge. She did not intend to fight to the death with Jiang Chen. What a perverted fellow. Before Hong Xiu's voice died away, Jiang Chen's Hung Tian seal had already crushed down. The terrifying power of Dao accumulation sealed the surrounding void, making it impossible for Hong Xiu to escape. This seal even directly sent Hong Xiu flying. The domineering feeling made Jiang Chen's heart sink. This seal was quite terrifying for Hong Xiu because no matter how strong she was, she could not comprehend Dao accumulation. Therefore, she was extremely sensitive to the horror of Dao accumulation. Chapter 37:15. Now, the person who should be begging for mercy should be you, Jiang Chen said faintly. He moved his palm and the sound of thunder rolled down. 5 heavenly thunders completely sealed Hong Xiu in it. He, you're really a capable little guy. I like you. Your myriad chi body is mine, Hong Xiu said with a smile. However, the sinister smile in it made people suspect that this guy was not as simple as they thought. Heaven-devouring kiss, Hong Xiu shouted. She opened her cherry mouth, but there was an unparalleled suction force, just like an 18th grade hurricane. Even if Jiang Chen was holding his saber and sword, he could not stop it. It directly swallowed Jiang Chen into its stomach. Bastard! Jiang Chen cursed and quickly escaped into the Zulong Tower. At that moment, Jiang Chen was spared. Inside Hong Xiu's stomach, he could feel that the outside of the ancestral dragon pagoda was about to be completely melted. If the ancestral dragon pagoda wasn't one of the 10 great ancient divine tools, it might really be melted by Hong Xiu. Jiang Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. He survived the disaster. However, staying in the Zulong Tower was definitely not a solution. He must break out of Hong Xiu's body. However, no matter how Jiang Chen urged the Zulong Tower, it seemed to be tightly controlled. The Zulong Tower was like a deep quagmire and could not move. Motherfucker! Bitch, don't let me out, otherwise, I will definitely kill you. Jiang Chen did not expect that he would be swallowed into the stomach of this saint-grade elixir. Everything around him was full of endless energy. This saint-grade elixir was formed by the convergence of these countless energies. Jiang Chen's brows were tightly knitted together. Now that he wanted to jump out of the saint-grade medicinal pill's stomach that was like a quagmire, Jiang Chen had fallen into a passive position and was completely helpless. Little guy, you will be melted by me slowly. The body of all myriad chi. Just thinking about it makes me excited. If it weren't for the refinement of all myriad chi, I wouldn't have been born. As long as I devour you completely, I will be able to reach the venerable Emperor realm. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Hong Xiu smiled happily, stretched her waist lazily, and said to herself, perhaps, you may not have this opportunity. A cold voice sounded in Hong Xiu's ears. Hong Xiu's expression changed and she stared at the stalwart man standing not far away. A sense of powerlessness rose in her heart. "It's you," Hong Xiu said in a low voice, frowning. "I felt your presence. You're the one who restored me, right? Not bad, you still know how to repay kindness. What a good young man. He. Saint Tier pills are indeed extraordinary. These 9 alchemists of mine are all top experts in the Central Region Divine Land. Their pill refining skills are unparalleled. Looks like the flourishing pill fragrance has been completely absorbed by you. You should only be a step away from a complete recovery," Emperor Tianqi said with a faint smile. Everything was already under his control. From the very beginning, Dan Qiushang had already become his puppet. Dan Qiushang had reached where he was today step by step. Dan Qiushang's death for the sake of restoring the Saint Grade elixir was a worthy death. Back then, when Imperial Emperor Tianqi obtained this Saint Grade medicinal pill, it was in an ancient ruin. At that time, the Saint Grade medicinal pill had already lost its charm. Finding this Saint Grade medicinal pill in the ruins made Imperial Emperor Tianqi very excited. However, if he wanted to restore the Saint Grade medicinal pill, he would need to gather the life's blood, sweat, and tears of several alchemy grandmasters. Although Dan Qiushang was an important minister of the Martial Dan Hall, and although those alchemy grandmasters were elders of the Martial Dan Hall, in the eyes of Imperial Emperor Tianqi, they weren't important people and could be sacrificed. When he obtained the Saint Grade medicinal pill that could save his sister, and perhaps allow her to stand up again, he truly became crazy. He had Dan Qiushang set up this so-called alchemy grand meet just to bait him. Everything was just a plot to restore the Saint Grade medicinal pill and save the sister in his heart, that's all. You're just an emperor, yet you have such ambition. My power is not something you can control, Hong Xiu said in a deep voice as she looked at Emperor Tianqi. I might not be able to withstand your power, but someone else can, Emperor Tianqi said with a smile, which made Hong Xiu's body tremble. To be able to withstand the power of the Saint Grade elixir, one must be stronger than an emperor. What scheme do you have? Hong Xiu instantly realized an extremely terrifying thing. Emperor Tianqi must have other plans if he wanted to obtain her. His conspiracy might even involve a stronger expert above the venerable emperor realm. Dan Qiushang succeeded. Emperor Tianqi can finally get rid of the worries in his heart. Yeah, let's go to Mount Wu Wai. Emperor Tianqi is doing this for the sake of the Martial Dan Palace. Once the Saint Grade elixir is restored, it might be terrifying beyond our imagination. That's right. I'm afraid I'll never be able to achieve the Saint Grade elixir in my life. Dan Qiushang and the 4 alchemy grandmasters of the Martial Dan Palace have suffered. 9 alchemy grandmasters have been burnt to ashes. It's such a pity. What's there to feel pity about? For the sake of expanding the territory of the Martial Dan Palace, it's reasonable for them to die. They will be remembered by the Martial Dan Palace forever. The 3 old men soared through the air, stepping on their flying swords. At that moment, at the foot of the snowy mountain, there was a woman with her back against the mountain. Her expression suddenly changed, and her heart trembled. Her beautiful eyes flickered with disbelief and shock. How could this be? The woman murmured. Her eyes were filled with shock and pain. Her jade-like hands were clenched tightly. One of her hands was holding the scroll, while the other hand was covering her chest. She couldn't hide the sadness in her heart. Qing Luo was uneasy. At that moment, her heart was in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. When they parted, she didn't expect that young Master Chen Jiang would encounter such a disaster. Now that she thought about it, the pain in her heart was all because of young Master Chen Jiang. Was that the last time we met? Qing Luo didn't want to believe it. But she knew that young Master Chen Jiang had become the best divine grade alchemist. She cheered for young Master Chen Jiang, but she couldn't hide the sadness in her heart. Chapter 37:16. All of this was because the Martial Dan Hall had more important things to do, and young Master Chen Jiang was one of them. As the most powerful alchemy grandmaster, he was able to stand at the peak of his life in this grand event. Did he see the girl he was looking forward to? At this moment, did all his hard work go down the drain? He had completely become a masterpiece. How did this happen? Qing Luo was not willing to accept this. He did not want to believe this scene. He was supposed to be a proud son of heaven who stood at the top of the 9 heavens, But he was framed by the people of the Marshall Dan Hall and died here. This was a great irony. The so-called alchemy grand meeting was just a conspiracy that had been planned for a long time. A saint-grade pill. It was a saint-grade pill. Qing Luo knew that this was all because of the saint-grade pill. Even though she had obtained the painting, she wasn't willing to watch young Master Chen Jiang die here. Was his love destined to die at this moment as well? For the sake of the saint-grade pill, I should go and take a look, Qing Luo said in a low voice. She really wanted to go to Mount Wu Ai to see what was going on. She wanted to know if everything was fake and that young Master Chen Jiang wasn't dead. It's better to forget each other in the pugilistic world. I can forget you, but I can't watch you leave me. Qing Luo was determined. She kept the painting and chased after young Master Chen Jiang. At the foot of Mount Wu Ai, Qing Luo's expression was solemn and her breathing was rapid. She knew that she would most likely die this time. For the sake of her clan, she had to protect herself. For the sake of her unforgettable friendship, Qing Luo made up her mind to come here. In Mount Wu Ai, Hong Xiu was extremely solemn. Her strength had yet to recover and the saint-grade pill had yet to be fully restored. It was impossible for her to deal with Imperial Emperor Tian Qi. Although Imperial Emperor Tian Qi wasn't a peerless expert in her eyes, he was 100 times stronger than her. Hong Xiu knew that it would be extremely difficult for her to escape from Imperial Emperor Tian Qi's grasp. Surrender obediently. Don't force me to take action. Otherwise, you'll suffer even more. It's already a great fortune for you to be able to recover to this stage. Imperial Lord Tianqi said with a solemn expression. He seemed to be gradually losing his patience with this saint-tier pill. That will depend on your ability. I, Hong Xiu, will never allow myself to be trampled upon. Although it is a pill, I have already turned into a spirit. No one can stop me. Hong Xiu gritted her teeth and said. She had just recovered more than half of her strength. She wasn't willing to let Imperial Lord Tianqi take her life, so even if she knew she would die, she must fight to the end. Courting death. Emperor Tianqi's face remained as cold as ever. In front of an emperor, they definitely weren't qualified to resist at all. Monarch Tianqi struck out with a palm that covered the sun and sky, sending Hong Xiu flying. Hong Xiu struck out with both of her palms and forcefully defended against the palm. However, she was also in an extremely pathetic state. In the end, she slammed against the stone wall and fell down. A mouthful of turbid air came out. Hong Xiu was already severely injured. It's already not easy for you to receive a palm strike from me. If not for the sage great elixir, you would already be dead. Monarch Tianqi shook his head. He seemed to be disdainful of Hong Xiu's stubborn resistance. Jiang Chen was in the stomach of the sage great elixir. He could sense Monarch Tianqi's existence because one's soul energy couldn't be changed. One's aura couldn't be concealed either. When his soul energy enveloped the area, even if he couldn't see it with his naked eyes, he knew that it was definitely Monarch Tianqi. This fella, it's really all his schemes. Jiang Chen was incomparably furious. Now that things had come to this, he was luckier than anyone else. However, he was also more depressed than anyone else. Being trapped in the stomach of the sage great elixir, it wasn't easy for Jiang Chen to break through the void and escape. Moreover, he had already tried his best but he still couldn't break through the sage great elixir. Don't tell me I'm going to be eaten like a pill? Jiang Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. What if the sage great elixir was taken away by Monarch Tianqi? What would he do then? Jiang Chen had already understood that all of this was Monarch Tianqi's scheme. He wanted to stand at the pinnacle of the Central Plains divine land. Although his wish had come true, he was still trapped here. To Jiang Chen, this was a mixed feeling. However, he didn't know if little Yu saw this scene. For her, Jiang Chen was willing to change the entire world. But unfortunately, he was still trapped in the scheme. Being in the middle of the whirlpool, Jiang Chen was more helpless than anyone else. To be able to survive was his fortune and destiny. At this moment, Jiang Chen only wanted to escape from this place as soon as possible. The restoration of the sage great elixir was something that even Monarch Tianqi didn't want to talk about. It could be seen how terrifying the sage great elixir was. Monarch Tianqi went through so much trouble just to obtain the sage great elixir. Just like what Hong Xiu had said, Monarch Tianqi seemed to be unable to consume the sage great elixir. Then he must have a bigger scheme. Accept your fate. A sage-grade elixir is just an elixir in the end. It's impossible to become a human. Monarch Tianqi flipped his palm again. The terrifying aura made the sage-grade elixir unable to hide and was completely caught in his hand. After Hong Xiu revealed herself, she had completely turned into the shape of an elixir. Caught in Monarch Tianqi's hand, she couldn't escape at all. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. You bastard, I don't believe that there's still an Emperor Realm expert in this world. Hong Xiu roared with all her might. She wasn't willing to become an elixir and be swallowed by others. Since she had already transformed into a spirit, it was impossible for her to willingly become an elixir. She must recultivate the Emperor Realm and become an existence comparable to human experts. Everyone had their own pursuits. As a spiritualization elixir, Hong Xiu was the same. Therefore, she swallowed the Emperor Realm expert who refined her. Therefore, she continued to cultivate, wanting to surpass human experts. However, in the end, her energy was exhausted in the ancient war and she fell into hibernation. Fortunately, her energy didn't dissipate and the last trace of her aura still existed. That was why Monarch Tianqi gathered so many alchemy grandmasters and had the opportunity to restore her. However, Hong Xiu wasn't grateful to Monarch Tianqi at all. Because if it wasn't for his great scheme, he wouldn't have gone through so much trouble to restore her. Therefore, they were just taking what they needed. Chapter 37:17. This is your destiny, your glory. Monarch Tianqi coldly spoke. He clutched the saint-grade pill tightly as he turned and walked towards the depths of Ethereal Mountain. After passing through the boundless mist barrier, Monarch Tianqi once again arrived before the crystal coffin. His eyes flashed with excitement. Elder sister, it won't be long before I allow you to be reborn and see the light of day again. Emperor Tianqi gently stroked the crystalline coffin, his eyes blazing with incomparable heat. This was the woman he had dreamed of, and she was his unparalleled glory. He had already placed the Heaven's Word soul-seizing formation on her, and he would be able to bring her back to life, and he would be able to firmly control her. Don't blame my elder sister. This is the only thing I can do. If not, you are too strong and I can't guarantee that you will treat me the same way you treated me in the past. I want you to become stronger. I want you to become my woman. I want this world to belong to us forever. Monarch Tianqi murmured. His face was filled with anticipation and excitement. This day was about to arrive. He had waited for far, far too long. Finally, his dream was about to come true. He didn't dare to believe that everything was going according to his plan. Everything was progressing step by step. Just one final step and he would be able to become the ruler of the divine world. He couldn't cultivate to the Empyrean realm or even the Heavenly King realm, but his elder sister could. She could help him conquer this boundless world and become the most obedient woman in his hands. In this soul-seizing heaven's formation, after she recovers, her soul would also be under his control. At that time, wouldn't everything be under his control? Don't blame my elder sister. I love you too much and I want you too much. I want us to be together forever at this moment. Monarch Tianqi caressed the crystal coffin as his eyes blazed with indescribable passion. The passion in his eyes wasn't something ordinary people could imagine. It's her? How is this possible? It's actually her. The saint-grade pill was incomparably shocked. She drew in a breath of cold air as she stared at the woman in the crystal coffin. She never imagined that Monarch Tianqi's ultimate scheme was actually her, one of the most terrifying women in the supreme ancient immortal realms. You are a madman. You have no idea what you are doing. Emperor Tianqi, you'll die a horrible death. Hong Xiu roared angrily, and even she trembled a little. You know her? Imperial Lord Tianqi frowned as he spoke in a low voice. I don't know her. Then what do you mean? Imperial Lord Tianqi rolled his eyes. This was the most exasperated he had ever felt. Because no matter how he threatened it, the saint-tier pill wouldn't give in. He was already about to refine it, so what could be more terrifying than that? Boring. Monarch Tianqi's face turned ashen. But at this moment, he didn't need to waste his breath on this saint-grade pill. Everything he had been waiting for was about to come true. He was about to become the strongest man in this world. The divine world would definitely be under his control. In the primordial war, all the gods had fallen, and the current immortal world was already riddled with holes. No one could change their fate anymore. He wanted to become the ruler of this world, and he wanted to be together with the sister he loved forever. No one can stop me, not even the heavens. Monarch Tianqi spoke in an overbearing manner. However, the Saint Tear Pill didn't say a single word, and its voice was incomparably low. Monarch Tianqi's eyes were filled with anticipation. This was an opportunity bestowed to him by the heavens. How could he not cherish it? For hundreds of years. Wasn't this the moment he had been waiting for? I'll wait for you, sister. I'll wait for you to regain your consciousness and step onto the path of a monarch. Emperor Tianqi spoke in a low voice. The moment she embarked on the path of an invincible great emperor would be the moment he became the ruler of the god realm. He would regain his former glory, and she would definitely become his puppet. No, it would be more accurate to say that she would become his most obedient pet, his most loyal woman. Monarch Tianqi slowly opened the crystal coffin. At this moment, an incomparably cold aura gushed out. At this moment, Jiang Chen, who was in the stomach of the Saint Tear Pill, abruptly raised his head. His soul force spread across the entire Mount Wuai. Little you, is that really you? Little you. Jiang Chen's eyes were bloodshot. He could sense that Little Yu's aura was extremely weak. Could the sister that Monarch Tianqi spoke of be Little Yu? Why is Little Yu here? Jiang Chen's body was trembling. He had never been so agitated before. He knew that this scene wasn't a mistake. That person who was on the verge of death, with no signs of life, was Little Yu. He wouldn't be mistaken. Even if he was mistaken about the way home, he wouldn't be mistaken. Even if he couldn't see, he knew that this person was Little Yu. Jiang Chen was incomparably frenzied, desperately trying to rush out of the Saint Tear Pill's stomach. Jiang Chen roared in rage, ramming his body madly, hysterically. Little Yu, wait for me, I'm coming to see you now. Jiang Chen cried out in a heart-wrenching manner. Tears rolled down from his eyes. He had been waiting for this moment for far too long. 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. If he continued to wait, it would be 1,000 years. He couldn't endure this inhuman torture any longer. This time, he wanted to make a name for himself with a single battle. But he didn't expect that Little Yu would actually be in the Marshal Dan Hall. This was something he never dreamed of. Jiang Chen's heart was constantly trembling. He couldn't believe this scene. He didn't expect that the reunion between the two of them would be a reunion where they couldn't even see each other's faces. However, Jiang Chen firmly believed that this person was the Little Yu that he had been worrying about and thinking about every day. He couldn't be wrong. Countless days and nights, countless dreams. Jiang Chen had already had countless moments of charging with Little Yu. Unfortunately, those were all dreams. Jiang Chen wanted this moment to be a dream too. But was she really dead? Jiang Chen didn't believe it. He didn't think that Little Yu would die so silently. She was the love of his life, the source of his life. Little Yu, I'm sorry. I came too late. I'm sorry, Little Yu. Jiang Chen constantly blamed himself. He kept charging, trying to rush out of this place with all his might. However, he really couldn't imagine that this Saint Tear Pill would be so overbearing. It made it impossible for him to get out. It was as if he was stuck in a quagmire. Jiang Chen's eyes were bloodshot and he was in a frenzy. He wanted to see this scene with his own eyes. The love of his life must not be harmed by a villain. Chapter 37:18. Even the ancestral Dragon Emperor was shocked by Jiang Chen's madness. He never thought that Xiao Yu's appearance would have such a terrifying impact on him. Now, he had completely lost his mind. He kept trying to break free from the Saint Grade Pill's stomach. However, how could it be that easy to break free from the Saint Grade Pill? Jiang Chen didn't care about anything else. He only had one thought in his heart, and that was to see Xiao Yu as soon as possible. He must not let that Imperial Emperor Tianqi do anything to Xiao Yu. Otherwise, he would definitely shred him into pieces. For countless days and nights, he had been looking forward to the day when he could finally meet Xiao Yu. However, he didn't expect that it would be like they were separated by heaven and earth. Jiang Chen had to break through this shackle no matter what. This was his only chance. No one knew how much pain Jiang Chen was suffering in his heart. However, he couldn't say it out loud. He could only bury it in the deepest part of his heart. Longing, love, endless and indefinite. The world only saw his glorious side, becoming famous after a single battle. However, they didn't know that he wanted to be low-key, just to let the person he loved see him. That's why he was so determined to reach the peak. Everyone had their own choice. Jiang Chen's choice was for Xiao Yu. No matter how many years passed, the only thing that never changed was his stubborn heart. If he couldn't find Xiao Yu, he wouldn't be able to be at ease for the rest of his life. That was his life's wish. At the very least, he had seen Qingqing and Sister Ning before. But for little Yu, from the start to the end, he had already lost contact with Sister Ning the moment he entered the divine world. A dream of 100 years. The years passed by slowly. The only thing he could remember was the tear-stained face of little Yu before she left. Finally, Jiang Chen broke free from all the obstacles. Finally, he was going to see the woman he loved the most. However, heavens will made a fool out of him. Impermanence. Jiang Chen kept attacking, trying to break out of the encirclement, but to no avail. Only now did he realize that his strength was too weak, and he couldn't do anything at all. No, impossible. I can't accept this. The merciless sword rain broke through the barrier, but it was still unable to break free from the saint-grade pill. Ancestral Dragon Emperor Senior. What should I do? How can I get out of here? Jiang Chen roared angrily. His voice was hoarse, and no one could understand the pain in his heart. The feeling of being so close but unable to see was the most miserable. The ancestral Dragon Emperor remained silent for a while and said solemnly, "There's only one way, and that's to devour the ocean heart lotus in your hand and completely absorb its energy. However, I'm afraid your body won't be able to withstand the power of the ocean heart lotus and the energy essence of hundreds of frost dragons. You won't be able to completely devour it unless you reach the martial emperor realm. That terrifying energy and supreme Tao connotation is something you can't control right now." The ancestral Dragon Emperor didn't want to tell Jiang Chen, but he knew that if he didn't tell him, Jiang Chen would hate him for the rest of his life. If he told him, Jiang Chen might do something stupid. Nobody knew his feelings for Xiao Yu better than himself. They had been helping each other for so many years, and they even wanted to repay each other's kindness with their lives. If he couldn't see Xiao Yu, he might suffer too. However, the ocean heart lotus was so terrifying that even Li Feng didn't want to let it go. One could imagine how terrifying its energy was. Ocean heart lotus. Are you sure that the ocean heart lotus can help me break free from this saint-grade pill? Jiang Chen said in a deep voice. He was extremely nervous and confused. However, since the ancestral Dragon Emperor said it, he shouldn't be lying. However, as he said, the most important thing was whether he could withstand the terrifying energy of the ocean heart lotus or not. If he failed, he would die instantly. Although the sea heart lotus is terrifying and bursting with energy, even an emperor master would probably be quite cautious about it. Therefore, the chances of you completely refining the sea heart lotus are very slim. Once you fail, you'll be consigned to eternal damnation. Because the ocean heart lotus is the essence of heaven and earth and hundreds of frost dragons' Tao connotation. If you succeed, you might be able to break free from the barrier of the saint-grade pill. Only when you reach the emperor realm can you break free from the barrier of the saint-grade pill. Otherwise, it's impossible to break free from the barrier of the saint-grade pill. This is just an assumption. Even if you succeed in absorbing the energy of the ocean heart lotus, you might not be able to break free from the barrier. The ancestral Dragon Emperor said meaningfully. Everything was just an illusion. However, to Jiang Chen, this was the only chance for him to escape. If he didn't, then Xiao Yu would be trapped alone. In the face of danger, Imperial Emperor Tianqi was a cunning and despicable man. What wouldn't he do? Jiang Chen would never allow his woman to be used as a puppet. Even if there's only a slight chance, Jiang Chen would fight till the end. He was never a person who would resign himself to fate, especially at a time like this. Although he had no regrets, he couldn't watch his beloved woman become a tool for others to conquer the world. He had to grasp this chance of survival. At this moment, the ancestral Dragon Emperor knew that it was useless to say anything. He could imagine that Jiang Chen was already prepared for a battle of life and death. As long as there's a chance, even if there's only a slight chance, he would do it. How confident am I in fusing with the ocean heart lotus? Jiang Chen asked. At most 10%. The ancestral Dragon Emperor smiled bitterly. His words were filled with hesitation. Jiang Chen understood that in this battle of life and death, Jiang Chen had to defeat himself first, not Emperor Tianqi. If he couldn't even defeat himself, then he would be in despair. Even if there was only 0.1% of hope, Jiang Chen decided to give himself an answer. He must not give up on Xiao Yu, give up on his dream. Xiaoyu, wait for me. I won't let anyone touch you. Jiang Chen clenched his teeth and said. This was the greatest pain in the world. In order to see Xiaoyu, Jiang Chen had no other choice. Regardless of success or failure, he had to fight till the very last moment. This was his biggest determination. Life and death. Nothing was more important than Xiaoyu. Although the ocean heart lotus was as terrifying as a demon, he never backed off. Chapter 37:19. The sea heart lotus was held tightly in Jiang Chen's hand. He had no other choice but to do so without any hesitation. This was a path that he had to take, but he had to face more dangers now. Jiang Chen had seen the terrifying energy of the sea heart lotus before. Now that his strength had increased, he was even more sensitive to it. The sea heart lotus was the essence of the heavens and earth for billions of years. It contained the Tao essence of hundreds of Emperor Realm experts. Moreover, it was chased by Phoenix Li and the other peerless experts. It showed how terrifying it was. The ancestral Dragon Emperor sighed silently. He knew Jiang Chen's character very well. No one could change him. He thought that the Sea Heart Lotus would become a stepping stone for Jiang Chen's strength after he broke through to the Emperor realm. But now, it seemed that he couldn't wait for that moment anymore. Jiang Chen moved his palm and swallowed the Ocean Heart Lotus. At this moment, he could feel an incomparably terrifying energy spreading throughout his body. Every muscle in his body became extremely tight. The dense Ocean Heart Lotus spread out from his dantian. Waves of deafening airwaves were rolling in his body. Jiang Chen used the myriad qi to neutralize the energy of the Ocean Heart Lotus. But even so, it was like trying to put out a burning cart of firewood with a cup of water. The dreadful energy was still wreaking havoc in Jiang Chen's body. It seemed like his body was going to explode from the overflowing energy. I can't give up. Jiang Chen clenched his teeth and endured it silently. He quickly activated the dragon transformation skill and started to stabilize the surging energy of the heavens and earth and Tao essence in his body. However, it was still a drop in the bucket. Streams of myriad qi and layers of energy flowed around Jiang Chen's body. Jiang Chen's qi couldn't find a perfect balance. He was like an old and weak woman who was carrying a heavy burden of hundreds and thousands of kilograms. He couldn't even stand straight. The energy of heaven and earth and the Tao essence that was beyond his body's limit was not only beneficial to him, but also harmful to him. It could even cause his qi to be completely dispersed and his body to be torn apart. This was the feeling, the pain of having one's flesh and bones torn apart. It was indescribable. No matter how painful it was, Jiang Chen could bear it. However, everyone had their own limit. Although the Ocean Heart Lotus was a rare treasure, there would be side effects if one ate too much of it. It was because the energy in the Ocean Heart Lotus was too huge that it made it difficult for Jiang Chen. Although the Taoist strength was extremely terrifying, it was also very heterogeneous. It was extremely difficult for Jiang Chen to absorb all the Taoist strength. He had to combine all the Taoist strength, and how much Taoist strength he could absorb would depend on his own luck. Even venerable emperors were afraid of the Ocean Heart Lotus. The ancestral Dragon Emperor's words were not fake at all. Jiang Chen was enduring the pain of life and death all the time. He was in a dilemma between life and death with a single thought. If he made the slightest mistake, he would die and suffer a crushing defeat. He had to struggle tenaciously and race against time. Although the heaven and earth energy in his body was getting more and more terrifying, Jiang Chen still relied on his strong will to constantly devour the energy in his body and change the qi of Tao accumulation. If it wasn't for the myriad qi, Jiang Chen knew that his body would have exploded and he would have died. The myriad qi made the heaven and earth energy and the qi of Tao accumulation flow in a roundabout way, giving him more time to absorb and change the side effect of the Ocean Heart Lotus. Jiang Chen's head was sweating profusely. He was extremely nervous and anxious. The dragon transformation skill had already been activated to the extreme. Dragon marks appeared all over his body. Jiang Chen's strength had reached the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. He had completely surpassed the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. The next step would be the half-step Emperor realm. It was impossible to become a god in one step. Absorbing all the energy in the world and becoming an Emperor realm expert would put Jiang Chen in a desperate situation. It was better to take it one step at a time. However, the divine origin qi in the Ocean Heart Lotus was terrifying. It was beyond Jiang Chen's imagination. Jiang Chen knew that he would definitely die this time. The divine origin qi in his body had reached an irreversible level. Too many. There are simply too many of them. Jiang Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, he had no distractions at this moment. He just wanted to break through as soon as possible. He just wanted to suppress all the energy in the ocean heart lotus. Only then would he have a chance to escape unscathed. However, the Tao essence and divine origin qi were intertwined together. Jiang Chen's biggest enemy was the energy of the ocean heart lotus. Even if he used all of his means, even if he had the myriad qi in his body and absorbed the energy of the heavens and earth like a whale, there was still 70 to 80% of the energy of the heavens and earth wreaking havoc in his body. The veins on Jiang Chen's arms were bulging and his body was covered with a thick layer of blood. The ocean heart lotus was too overbearing. It was impossible to resist it. Jiang Chen's breath became weaker and weaker. The amount of energy absorbed by the dragon transformation skill was less than 1/5 of the ocean heart lotus. This step was too difficult for Jiang Chen. He could only continue to suppress the energy of the world to make himself more tenacious. As long as his willpower was not extinguished, he would not fall. I can't fall like this. I definitely can't. Jiang Chen's body was in pain from the energy again and again. However, he managed to pull himself out of the pain with his unyielding willpower. For Xueqi, I definitely can't fall. I definitely can't. Countless energy of the world flowed in Jiang Chen's body. He kept suppressing and compressing it, but the effect was minimal. The ancestral Dragon Emperor did not expect Jiang Chen to be able to hold on until this step. However, the pain he was facing was getting more and more intense. If this continued, the energy that had nowhere to go would completely devour Jiang Chen's body and turn him into ashes. This was not a joke. This was a crisis of death. The dragon marks in Jiang Chen's body had broken through 8 million and it was still increasing at a terrifying speed. Half-step Emperor Realm. I'm going to break through to the half-step Emperor Realm soon. Jiang Chen took a deep breath and shook his head. He was already in a daze. The endless energy of the world was the divine origin qi that countless people desired. However, to Jiang Chen, it was like an invisible sword that could kill people. My fate is up to me, not the heavens. I want to see who can do anything to me. Chapter 37:20. At this moment, he was already numb to death. Coming back from the dead was his only hope. Jiang Chen clenched his fists tightly. His dragon marks had reached more than 8 million and his aura had also reached the peak. Half-step Emperor Realm. Success or failure depended on this. To Jiang Chen, the qi of Tao accumulation was extremely rich. Plus, he had already comprehended the great Tao of the heavens and earth. Therefore, breaking through to the Emperor Realm was just a matter of time. As long as I'm still alive, I, Jiang Chen, will never bow down. Jiang Chen's roar came from the depths of his heart. He kept reminding himself that he must not fall asleep, he must not fall. Even if the road ahead was full of thorns, even if the pain was unbearable at this moment, even if his body, mind, and soul had long lost their senses. The pain penetrated into his bones, pierced through his heart. The dragon marks in Jiang Chen's body continued to increase and finally stopped at 8.9 million. However, the heaven and earth energy was still incomparably terrifying. Jiang Chen chose to break through at this moment because it was also full of danger. If he did not break through as soon as possible, he might be drowned by the heaven and earth energy. The terrifying thing was that he had no means to change this. Jiang Chen stood up in pain and despair. For Xueqi, everything was worth it. The dragon transformation skill continued to advance and the number of dragon marks continued to increase. Jiang Chen finally fixed his strength at the half-step Emperor Realm. At that moment, he felt that the heaven and earth energy in his body had become more and more terrifying. Although he had broken through to the half-step Emperor Realm, he still could not absorb even a quarter of the divine origin qi. I can only give it a try. Jiang Chen knew that he had no other choice. The only thing he could do now was to survive. No matter what the result was, there was hope. As long as he survived, he could change everything. At that moment, Jiang Chen continued to purify the Tao qi. The terrifying Tao qi and the boundless heaven and earth energy had become the culprit that killed Jiang Chen. As long as Jiang Chen did not find a way to stop it, the outcome would be unimaginable. The dragon transformation skill is obviously not enough to support such a huge amount of heaven and earth energy in Jiang Chen's body. If this continues, Jiang Chen will definitely die. The ancestral Dragon Emperor was extremely worried. This was because Jiang Chen's decision to devour the Sea Heart Lotus was a mistake. However, this decision was the only choice. Jiang Chen continued to gather the energy of the heavens and earth within his body. Although it was still painful and his life force was extremely weak, the violent energy of the heavens and earth and the impure Dao Qi brought him a sense of danger that even the ancestral Dragon Emperor could not imagine. The moment Jiang Chen devoured the Qi of Dao essence, it became extremely simple because his heavenly Dao essence was extremely powerful and all-encompassing. No other Dao essence could be compared to his heaven-dominating Dao. It was in Qi that was above everything in the world. It was a fearless Dao. I didn't expect my heaven and earth Dao Qi to be so powerful. Even Jiang Chen did not expect his heaven and earth Dao Qi to be able to absorb all the impure Dao Qi effortlessly. The terrifying pressure was something that Jiang Chen could never imagine. In other words, the heaven and earth Dao Qi had given him great confidence. The heaven and earth Dao Qi was constantly being absorbed by Jiang Chen. It was different from the heaven and earth energy. It was an illusory existence and it was an extremely complicated and difficult Dao Qi. Those who had truly comprehended the heaven and earth Dao Qi would be able to accept it. However, those who had not comprehended the heaven and earth Dao Qi would undoubtedly become a killing sword when facing the impure Dao Qi. The heaven and earth Dao Qi was continuously being purified and absorbed by Jiang Chen. His heaven and earth Dao Qi seemed to have reached a bottleneck. It's the ninth heaven of Dao Qi. He broke through the first heaven in such a short time. The ancestral Dragon Emperor widened his eyes and said in disbelief. Dao Qi was divided into 9 levels. Every level was a superposition of Dao Qi. The moment one reached the 9th heaven, he would have completely comprehended the great Dao. However, the number of people who had truly reached the 9th heaven of Dao Qi was less than the number of fingers in this world. Back then, his Dao Qi was already considered as one of the 3 realms and 6 Dao. He had only reached the 5th heaven of Dao Qi. However, his strength was much stronger than Jiang Chen's. The scariest thing was that his Dao Qi was still increasing. It seemed like it had no intention of stopping. Is he going to break through the 2nd heaven of Dao Qi? The ancestral Dragon Emperor said in shock. His face looked extremely solemn. However, his shock did not stop. Jiang Chen had already broken through the 2nd heaven of Dao Qi easily. He even reached the 3rd heaven of Dao Qi. This is too terrifying. The ancestral Dragon Emperor had never seen such a terrifying guy. When he reached the late Emperor realm, he only managed to comprehend a bit of Dao Qi. When he reached the 3rd heaven of Dao Qi, he was already a grade 7 Emperor realm expert. However, Jiang Chen was obviously more terrifying than him, the ancestor of the Dragon Clan. Although the Dao Qi could not be turned into real strength, its terrifying Dao Qi could suppress the opponent. Just like the heaven-spreading seal that Jiang Chen casted, it was a rare existence. It was a seal that required the Dao Qi to be casted. It was not something that ordinary people could imagine. Moreover, not everyone could comprehend the heavenly Dao. Some people might not be able to comprehend the heavenly Dao even if they reached the Emperor realm. This was also the advantage of the Dao Qi. Jiang Chen broke through the 3rd heaven of Dao Qi directly. That was why the ancestral Dragon Emperor was shocked. He was a lunatic. When Jiang Chen came back to his senses, all the Dao Qi had been absorbed by him. However, it was impossible for him to break through the peak in one go since he did not comprehend the Dao Qi himself. However, it was unprecedented for him to reach the 3rd heaven of Dao Qi directly. Jiang Chen's face was solemn, but his heart was filled with excitement. The impure Dao essence had been completely absorbed by him, but the heaven and earth energy was still the most troublesome part. Can I try to use the Dao Qi to guide the heaven and earth energy? Jiang Chen had an idea in his mind. The power of Dao accumulation was extremely terrifying and overbearing, and the heaven-reaching Dao accumulation was an unparalleled existence. Jiang Chen circulated the power of Dao accumulation in his body. He had never thought that his idea would actually work. The power of Dao accumulation guided the natural energy and made it become more and more docile. It was no longer as violent as before. The most surprising thing was that under the operation of the power of Dao accumulation, the natural energy had turned into balls of energy and were wrapped by the power of Dao accumulation. Finally, they formed into 9 balls of energy and settled in Jiang Chen's dantian. Chapter 37:21. Is that even possible? The ancestral Dragon Emperor was dumbfounded. Although he had some confidence in Jiang Chen, he never thought that things would end up like this. This was too unbelievable. The energy of heaven and earth was enveloped by the Dao energy. The pain in Jiang Chen's body had completely disappeared. However, The sweat on his face had not dried up yet. Although the transformation was not completed, the 9 energy balls would definitely help Jiang Chen reach the next level in the future. 70 to 80% of the energy of heaven and earth was enough for Jiang Chen to be able to rest easy in front of Di Jing. He thought that it was going to be a battle of life and death. However, the ending was perfect. Even the ancestral Dragon Emperor could not help but give Jiang Chen a thumbs up. This fella is indeed a genius. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. The strength of the 3rd level of Dao accumulation had made him feel that his Dao accumulation was extremely stable. He could even use the Heaven Breaking Seal, the Heaven Opening Seal, and even the Heaven Envying Seal with ease. Half-step Emperor Realm. 3rd level of Dao energy. Jiang Chen reached out his hand and clenched his fist. It was as if he possessed the strongest power in the world. The power of the 9 dragons and 10 elephants was unstoppable. I never thought that you would really do it. The ancestral Dragon Emperor took a deep breath. He felt like he had just survived a disaster. If Jiang Chen died, he would not be able to survive either. Jiang Chen, the Zulong Tower and the ancestral Dragon Emperor were bound together. Unless Jiang Chen could reach the Emperor Realm and reconstruct his golden body, he would not be able to escape from this suffering. This time, Jiang Chen had a narrow escape, but the ending was still good. Xiaoyu, I will not let anyone hurt you. Jiang Chen nodded and formed a seal with his hand. The energy of Taoist connotation surged out like a huge wave. Heaven-crushing seal. Jiang Chen activated the Heavenly Howling Seal once again. This time, it was as if he was a completely different person. Not only did his Dao accumulation increase, the strength of the Heavenly Howling Seal also increased along with it, completely surpassing its previous strength. Half-step Emperor Realm. A single strike of the seal caused the heavens and earth to change color. Break! Jiang Chen turned into a streak of light and soared into the sky. The surrounding light caused his pupils to shrink and his expression to turn grave. At this moment, Imperial Lord Tianqi had already opened the crystal coffin and was refining the Saint-grade pill in his hand. He was rather shocked when Jiang Chen emerged from the Saint-grade pill. It's you! Imperial Lord Tianqi's face was gloomy as his killing intent surged. This was a critical moment, but he actually wasn't absorbed by the Saint-grade pill. Instead, he broke through the barrier of the Saint-grade pill and charged out. To Imperial Lord Tianqi, Jiang Chen was nothing more than a new problem. No, how is this possible? Hong Xiu's face was pale. She suffered a great injury when Jiang Chen broke through the barrier. She lost at least 30% of her energy. This was also the reason why Imperial Lord Tianqi was furious. Jiang Chen's gaze fell upon the crystal coffin. At this moment, his heart was completely melted. That beautiful face, that calm expression, it was the scene that Jiang Chen had dreamt of countless times. Thousands of times, he recalled this moment. Xiaoyu, my Xiaoyu. I'm sorry that I'm late. Jiang Chen murmured. When he saw Xiaoyu lying quietly in the coffin, Jiang Chen's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Has Xiaoyu been like this for the past hundreds of years? When he was dominating the northern cold divine region, Xiaoyu was nowhere to be seen. When he fought the mountain and sea sect, Xiaoyu was also nowhere to be seen. Little did he know that she was lying there peacefully. Jiang Chen was filled with guilt. Why did he only reach this level after so many years? If he worked a little harder, he might have been able to see Xiaoyu long ago. From today onwards, I won't let anyone hurt you. Xiaoyu, we will never be separated again. Jiang Chen said in a low voice. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with killing intent. All of this was because of this Imperial Lord Tianqi. He imprisoned his Xiaoyu in this crystal coffin and even wanted to use Xiaoyu as his puppet to help him conquer the world. What wishful thinking. Who are you? My sister will never allow you to taint her. Get over here. Imperial Emperor Tianqi roared furiously as he stared at Jiang Chen. Imperial Lord Tianqi. What a schemer. Jiang Chen said coldly. She's my Xiaoyu, not your sister. No matter who you are, I will make you pay the price. Jiang Chen knew very well that this person was Xiaoyu. Even her clothes were the same clothes she wore when they parted for the last time. Imperial Lord Tianqi glared at Jiang Chen. He knew that this bastard was here to fight with him for his sister. You don't have the qualifications. A mere half-step emperor wants to fight with me for my sister? You don't know what's good for you. I thought that the Saint-grade pill had already devoured you. I didn't expect you to be so tenacious. But now that you're in my hands, It's impossible for you to leave. Imperial Lord Tianqi said confidently. One was a peerless great emperor while the other was only a half-step emperor. He didn't even have the strength of Dan Qiushang. Just him alone wanted to fight with him for his sister? Imperial Lord Tianqi would never show mercy to someone who doesn't know what's good for him. However, he'd forgotten how Jiang Chen had broken through the barrier of the Saint Rank Pill's body. What a good fella. But your opponent is an Emperor Realm expert. You're no match for him. How sad, how sad. Hong Xiu smiled bitterly. How she wished that Jiang Chen would also transform into an emperor and kill Imperial Lord Tianqi. This scheming fella was the one who caused her to fall into this abyss. This time, she had nowhere to run. No matter if Jiang Chen or Imperial Lord Tianqi won, she wouldn't be able to escape the torment of fate. Who asked her to be too domineering? A saint-grade pill that transformed into a spirit was a terrifying existence. How many people under the heavens would have the chance to obtain a saint-grade pill? Only a master at the venerable emperor level would be able to do so. It would be best if both of them were injured and died here. Then her chance would come. However, the difference in strength between Jiang Chen and Imperial Lord Tianqi was too great. Jiang Chen wouldn't be able to withstand Imperial Lord Tianqi's might. Let's see whose fist is harder. Even if it's an Emperor Realm expert, I, Jiang Chen, won't give you any chance today. How dare you have designs on little you? I'll make sure you'll never be able to reincarnate. Chapter 37-22. The sanctimonious Imperial Emperor Tianqi was full of schemes and plots. He said it was for his sister, but in fact, it was because of his ambition and lust. In Jiang Chen's eyes, he was just a grandson. This kind of person only knows how to use evil and schemes, petty and narrow-minded. He will never be able to achieve great things. He wanted to reach the peak and control the universe, but he wanted to rely on a woman? Jiang Chen didn't care what kind of relationship he had with Xiao Yu. But now, if Imperial Emperor Tianqi dared to touch Xiao Yu again, Jiang Chen would kill him at all costs. Even if he had to pay with his life, he would not hesitate. Jiang Chen had no other choice. He could only choose to fight till the end. This battle was related to Xiao Yu's life. An Emperor Realm expert was an Emperor Realm expert after all. It would be extremely difficult to kill him. His current strength was only at the half-step Emperor Realm. This battle was filled with unknown possibilities. Jiang Chen held the heavenly dragon sword in his hand. His battle intent surged. He was fearless. He looked at the silhouette in the crystal coffin. He couldn't wait any longer. Lovers will meet again. This day, there will be no parting. For Xiao Yu, for his belief, Jiang Chen would fight to the end even if he had to face an Emperor Realm expert. He wanted to fight to the death with Imperial Emperor Tianqi. You're really good at boasting. He. Do you really think you're that capable? You don't even have the strength of an Emperor Realm, yet you want to fight against me? What a fool's dream. Don't forget whose territory this is. Imperial Lord Tianqi stood still, as if he didn't see Jiang Chen's threat. In his eyes, no matter how strong Jiang Chen was, he was still just a half-step sovereign realm expert. The gap between him and a true sovereign realm expert was insurmountable. One step to the heavens, one step to the earth. This was something that no one could change. Whose territory is this? I'm going to fight you with my life. Jiang Chen sneered. He turned around and pointed the human king's sword at Imperial Emperor Tianqi. The battle was about to begin. You want to lay your hands on my sister? Go to hell. Imperial Emperor Tianqi struck out with his palm, enveloping Jiang Chen's figure. Jiang Chen didn't dare to be careless. The attack of an Emperor Realm expert was nothing to scoff at. With a single strike, Jiang Chen's attack was instantly extinguished. Sword 22. Boundless sword shadows filled the sky. Jiang Chen's lips curled into a cold smirk. That seemingly calm palm strike contained the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Jiang Chen was forced to take a few hundred steps back, looking extremely miserable. That palm strike was merely a casual strike from Imperial Emperor Tianqi. But the terrifying momentum of it was unstoppable. As a half-step emperor, Jiang Chen managed to withstand it. But in the eyes of Imperial Emperor Tianqi, he was already quite surprised. Not bad, little fella. To think that you can withstand a strike of mine. You're the first half-step emperor that I've ever struck twice. Even if you die, you can be proud of yourself. A wisp of blue light appeared in Emperor Tianqi's palm, and it continued to converge like a storm. Meteors flickered as light filled the air, and the comet shot out explosively from his hand once more. Go to hell! Jiang Chen acted as though he was facing a great enemy. His face was grim as he executed the ancient soaring dragon technique, raising his combat strength once more. Slashing down with his saber, he struck out with the Heavenly Roar Seal, causing the Tao of the 9 heavens to change. Heavenly Roar Seal. Facing the Tao Roar Seal in Jiang Chen's hands, Imperial Emperor Tianqi frowned. To think that this fella could execute the power of Tao Roar. Indeed, no one dared to underestimate him. I really can't look down on you. Imperial Emperor Tianqi and Jiang Chen's palms intertwined. Thunderbolts surged and a storm raged in the void. The attack of an Emperor Realm expert was completely neutralized by Jiang Chen's Heavenly Roar Seal. That formless yet powerful Tao Roar Seal made Imperial Emperor Tianqi jealous. Because up until now, he had yet to comprehend his own Tao. But this little fella, Jiang Chen, actually possessed his own Tao Roar? Imperial Emperor Tianqi felt that it was unfair in his heart. This was something that he couldn't accept. He couldn't wait to tear Jiang Chen into pieces and grind his bones into ashes. The power of Tao Roar was something that even an Emperor Realm expert might not necessarily be able to execute. This had completely exceeded Imperial Emperor Tianqi's expectations. Jiang Chen managed to block his second attack. In other words, their strength was actually comparable? As a Supreme Emperor Realm expert, Imperial Emperor Tianqi's hatred towards Jiang Chen wasn't just limited to his sister. Everything that Jiang Chen possessed wasn't something that he deserved. He wanted to deprive him of everything. He wanted to make sure that Jiang Chen would never be able to reincarnate. If he existed, he would definitely cause confusion to his sister. Therefore, this person must die. Since he was related to sister, he shouldn't exist in this world. The power of Tao Roar isn't something that you can control. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's expression was cold. As he raised his hand, a storm arose once again. It was like a sharp sword that pierced through the heart of the enemy, heading straight for Jiang Chen. As Jiang Chen extended his hand seal changed again. A gust of wind was generated from his palm. Open Heaven Seal. The current Tao accumulation seal was completely different from before. Jiang Chen's power of Tao Roar had reached the 3rd stage. Even the ancestral Dragon Emperor was shocked by such a terrifying technique. The increase of his power of Tao Roar was the most gratifying thing to him. The seal in his hand was also extremely powerful. It was 10 times or even 100 times stronger than before. It was a qualitative change. From the 1st stage of Tao Roar to the 3rd stage of Tao Roar, such a change almost made Jiang Chen suffocate. Too powerful. He wasn't weaker than Imperial Emperor Tianqi at all. The impact of the power of Tao Roar even made Imperial Emperor Tianqi feel a little sluggish. One should know that the gap between a half-step Emperor Realm and an Emperor Realm expert had shrunk infinitely. But the power of an Emperor Realm expert wasn't something that Jiang Chen could compete with. Even so, the power of Tao Roar made up for Jiang Chen's disadvantage. Jiang Chen continued to fight with Imperial Emperor Tianqi. The more Imperial Emperor Tianqi fought, the angrier he got. Because Jiang Chen's power of Tao Roar was too terrifying. It was able to completely block his power. That kind of formless power of Tao Roar was more terrifying than any other technique. His heaven and earth force couldn't do anything to Jiang Chen at all. It was getting harder and harder to kill Jiang Chen. Great Soul Derivation Technique, Soul Devouring. Chapter 37-23. In that instant, Imperial Emperor Tianqi's expression changed drastically. The terrifying pressure on his soul made it hard for him to resist, and he was forced to retreat in a pathetic manner. Jiang Chen's divine soul was invincible. An Emperor Realm divine soul could sweep across the world. Imperial Emperor Tianqi didn't expect Jiang Chen to have such a trump card. His divine soul was like a god of war. Facing Jiang Chen, Imperial Emperor Realm divine soul could only resist. At this moment, Jiang Chen had the upper hand. In addition to the Tao energy, Imperial Emperor Tianqi no longer looked down on Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was on par with him now. This fella wasn't an Emperor Realm expert, but he was stronger than an Emperor Realm expert. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was initially confident, but now, he became cautious. Damn it! How can his divine soul be so strong? Imperial Emperor Tianqi was shocked. Jiang Chen's divine soul was much stronger than his, and it was even more terrifying. The might of the soul seizing divine art was unparalleled when unleashed by Jiang Chen's divine soul. A mere half-step great emperor was able to cause his expression to change. At this moment, Jiang Chen was standing on the high ground. Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi's heart palpitated a few times. His heart was in awe. "Brat, you've forced me to do this. Today, I'll show you how terrifying an Emperor Realm expert is." Imperial Emperor Tianqi wasn't panicking. After all, there was still a gap between him and Jiang Chen's strength. Although Jiang Chen had forced him back with his divine soul, it wasn't fatal. Not even an expert of the same level could kill an Emperor Realm expert. "I'll accompany you to the end." Jiang Chen's hand seals changed again. The third seal, Envy the Heavens seal. Jiang Chen was already forming seals with his hands, and the energy of Tao was once again mobilized by Jiang Chen. That was the supreme Tao in his heart, his unparalleled seal. Facing this seal, Imperial Emperor Tianqi dared not be careless. His pupils shrunk as he swore to fight Jiang Chen to the death. Phoenix Perching Palm. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's expression was solemn as he unleashed his strongest attack. Facing Jiang Chen's third seal, Imperial Emperor Tianqi was extremely confident. The two of them clashed in an instant. The wind and clouds changed color, the mountains trembled and thunder rumbled. Accompanied by the roar of the apocalypse, the Heaven's Envy seal and the Phoenix Perching Palm finally collided. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was confident. That palm was invincible in the world. Jiang Chen was also full of confidence. No one knew better than him that not even an Emperor Realm expert could withstand the Heaven's Envy seal. This seal also contained 50% of Jiang Chen's strength. Imperial Emperor Tianqi didn't expect this. Envy the Heavens seal. The seal descended from the heavens. Jiang Chen's expression was solemn, as though he was facing a formidable foe. He knew how terrifying this seal was, but he wasn't sure if it could defeat Imperial Emperor Tianqi. Die! Imperial Emperor Tianqi's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. He was determined to kill Jiang Chen. Far away from the mountain, Qing Luo was staring at this scene. She was extremely excited, and her heart was in her throat. "Jiang Chen, can you really win?" Qing Luo wasn't sure if Jiang Chen could turn the tide and defeat the emperor. But in her heart, she didn't have much hope. Emperors were called emperors because they were as strong as the heavens. Emperors were the strongest existences in the world. Qing Luo didn't dare to believe that this was the young master Chen Jiang whom she admired so much. If she lost this battle again, would young master Chen Jiang die? "Young noble Chen Jiang, you have to hold on," Qing Luo murmured. There was no need for words to describe the love of a lifetime. Who could understand the love of a beautiful woman? Jiang Chen went against the current and rushed to the peak of the 9 heavens to fight against an emperor. Whether he won or lost, ordinary people couldn't compare to him. Whether he lived or died, Jiang Chen was the hero in Qing Luo's heart. When she saw the woman in the crystal coffin, she was also shocked. Her eyes were slightly closed, yet her beauty could topple a city. Her jade-like hands hung down, graceful and elegant. Her charm was unparalleled. If she was in Miao Yi's shoes, she would never give up either. No wonder young Master Chen Jiang was willing to go to the ends of the earth to find her, no matter what. Qing Luo sighed in her heart. But that wasn't important anymore. Young noble Chen Jiang had already found the woman he loved. He would definitely become a peerless expert who could defeat an emperor and become famous in the Middle Province. Jiang Chen didn't look away. The enchanting heaven seal was like a divine stroke, crushing down. The Phoenix Perching Palm was completely defeated by Jiang Chen. The domineering aura of the enchanting heaven seal pushed Imperial Emperor Tianqi back like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves. Imperial Emperor Tianqi coughed out blood as his body trembled. Jiang Chen and Imperial Emperor Tianqi didn't expect that Jiang Chen's seal would be so domineering. No one could resist it. Powerful, too powerful. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's lips curled up with a trace of bitterness. That seal had greatly shaken his meridians and bones, making it hard for him to breathe. Fortunately, he managed to stabilize the situation at the last moment. The might of the Phoenix Perching Palm was completely negated by Jiang Chen. Furthermore, the power of Jiang Chen's Tao had made him taste defeat and danger. Qing Luo took a deep breath. Young noble Chen Jiang won? That seal was too shocking. Even an emperor expert was defeated by it. One could imagine how powerful young noble Chen Jiang was. Now, is there anything else you want to say? So what if you're an emperor expert? I'll kill anyone who obstructs me. Jiang Chen said with a cold face. Although he only used 50 to 60% of his Dao accumulation, the divine origin qi in his body had already been used up. At this moment, Jiang Chen was like an arrow at the end of its flight. Everything he did was to hold on with all his might. Imperial Emperor Tianqi didn't say a word. His body was trembling. He didn't expect such an ending. Jiang Chen's means were too terrifying. He couldn't resist it. Jiang Chen was shocked. If he hadn't relied on the power of Dao, he would have lost his life in an instant. Jiang Chen seemed to have the upper hand, but the two of them were evenly matched. Both of them were injured, but Jiang Chen was calmer. Jiang Chen walked forward step by step, while Imperial Emperor Tianqi retreated step by step. Chapter 37-24. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's heart was beating like a drum. Jiang Chen was the first half-step Emperor realm expert to defeat him, and also the only one who could instill fear in his heart. Jiang Chen stood in front of the crystal coffin and grabbed it. He lifted the coffin and walked out step by step. Imperial Emperor Tianqi gritted his teeth, but he didn't dare to make another move. Jiang Chen's method had stunned him and left a shadow in his heart. At this moment, any action of Jiang Chen could affect his heart. The words that he had boasted in the past had turned into bullshit. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's face was drenched in cold sweat and his body was trembling. He was a dignified emperor expert, but he was defeated by a half-step emperor realm fella just like that. Wasn't this too inexcusable? Moreover, he had schemed and schemed for so long, yet he ended up like this in the end. All of his efforts were in vain. Instead, all of his hard work had gone to Jiang Chen. Who could accept this? Imperial Emperor Tianqi struggled as he watched Jiang Chen leave. He took a deep breath. He had waited for this moment for far too long. If Jiang Chen were to take away the saint-grade medicinal pill and his sister, then Jiang Chen's shadow would be left in his heart for the rest of his life. Why was it that he had done so much, but it was taken away by someone else? Imperial Emperor Tianqi questioned himself countless times, but he couldn't calm the anger in his heart. This was simply like a tortoise trying to dig his own grave. Jiang Chen's face was also drenched in sweat. He was actually an arrow at the end of its flight. He wanted to force Imperial Emperor Tianqi to retreat and subdue the enemy without a fight. Otherwise, Jiang Chen wouldn't know what the final outcome would be if he fought to the death. Moreover, Xueqi was by his side now. If he had to fight to the death, Jiang Chen wouldn't be afraid. Moreover, this was the Martial Dan Hall. Even if he was extremely capable, could he overturn the entire Martial Dan Hall? Although Jiang Chen was confident, he didn't have such thoughts. Moreover, the Martial Dan Hall was as famous as the Buddhist pagoda. It was impossible for Imperial Emperor Tianqi to be the only emperor expert in the Martial Dan Hall. Compared to the mountain and sea sect, Jiang Chen knew when to stop. He had to settle Xueqi down first. If the Martial Dan Hall's people arrived, then he would be in a predicament. Jiang Chen wasn't stupid. Now that he had completely crushed Imperial Emperor Tianqi's confidence, if he didn't take this opportunity to escape, then he might very well die here. The moment the two of them walked away in the opposite direction, Jiang Chen finally let out a long sigh of relief. However, when the two of them were 10 steps apart, Imperial Emperor Tianqi suddenly turned around and looked at Jiang Chen furiously. Because he was unwilling to let Jiang Chen leave just like that. If he let him go this time, then it would be extremely difficult to catch him again. He would never be able to make any progress because Jiang Chen had already become a nightmare in his heart. Imperial Emperor Tianqi had to fight with Jiang Chen. Even if he knew that he would die, he still had to fight with Jiang Chen. He couldn't let go of his sister, he couldn't let go of the saint-grade pill, and his confidence couldn't be destroyed by Jiang Chen. Stop right there. Imperial Emperor Tianqi growled. He had finally made up his mind to fight to the death with Jiang Chen. Although he was afraid of death, he had worked hard for so long and had used so many tricks in order to reach this point. He wasn't willing to give up just like that. Jiang Chen's body shook. Was this fellow really not afraid of death? Since you insist on dying, then I'll send you on your way. Jiang Chen slowly turned around and stared coldly at Imperial Emperor Tianqi, his killing intent surging. Imperial Emperor Tianqi felt his throat go dry. Did this fellow really have the ability to kill him? Although his heart was filled with fear, he had nowhere else to retreat. He had no choice but to brace himself and fight. Eat my palm. Jiang Chen roared angrily. Imperial Emperor Tianqi acted as if he was facing a powerful foe. He defended himself and his soul as he fought against Jiang Chen with all his might. But after waiting for an instant, he discovered that Jiang Chen had already flown out of Mount Wuwei with the crystal coffin on his shoulders. Bastard! I'm going to tear you to pieces. Don't run if you've got the balls. Imperial Emperor Tianqi never would have imagined that Jiang Chen would just faint and run. Motherfucker, so it was all an act? Imperial Emperor Tianqi couldn't suppress the rage in his heart. He had been played for a fool? Although Jiang Chen was very strong, he had heavily injured him with that attack. Did he really have the strength to fight again? After all, his strength was there for all to see. He was still a cut below a great emperor. From the looks of it now, after Jiang Chen had heavily injured him, he must have been severely injured. There was no way Jiang Chen could fight him to the end. Otherwise, why would he run? This fellow was just pretending to have the guts to trick him. Wasn't Jiang Chen treating him like a fool? Imperial Emperor Tianqi's confidence soared. At this moment, he chased after Jiang Chen relentlessly. Since Jiang Chen's calmness was all an act, he was just a half-step great emperor. If he hadn't underestimated him, he wouldn't have been so heavily injured. Now, he was almost fooled like a monkey. How could Imperial Emperor Tianqi remain calm? The three Marshal Dan Hall elders who were waiting for an opportunity were also dumbfounded. How could they still dare to show themselves after that scene? Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi was scared out of his wits. If the three half-step great emperors had acted, the outcome would have been even more miserable. A wise man submits to circumstances. It was reasonable for them to choose to remain silent. But when they saw Jiang Chen run away with a feint, they realized that Jiang Chen was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Wasn't he treating them like fools? The three of them acted immediately and chased after Imperial Emperor Tianqi. They were determined to capture Jiang Chen. This fella dared to play with great emperor experts. Qing Luo, who was standing at the side, also followed. She was extremely worried. Could young Master Chen Jiang really turn the situation around? Even she couldn't help but sneer. Young Master Chen Jiang was simply too evil. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was fooled by him. But the one who had to face the danger now was young Master Chen Jiang. Capture this man. I'll grind his bones to ashes and suppress his soul in purgatory, never to be reincarnated. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's roar was like thunder, spreading 1,000 li away. The entire Marshal Dan Hall seemed to be shaking at this moment. However, it wasn't easy for Jiang Chen to leave Mount Wuwei. The Marshal Dan Hall was heavily guarded and protected by an unparalleled formation. Even a fly wouldn't be able to escape. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen didn't hesitate. The most important thing was to run away as soon as possible. Xiao Yu was still unconscious and he didn't dare to continue fighting. This time, the Marshal Dan Palace was going to be turned upside down because of him. Chapter 37-25. Jiang Chen knew that it was too late to leave now. Imperial Emperor Tianqi still followed him. Jiang Chen knew that Imperial Emperor Tianqi wouldn't let him go if he let him go. Since that's the case, I'll have some fun with you guys, Jiang Chen said while gritting his teeth. The only thing he could do now was to get out of Wuwei Mountain as soon as possible and leave the territory of the Marshal Dan Palace. Only by doing so could he leave the Marshal Dan Palace. Otherwise, it would be hard for him to leave this place once he was trapped in the enemy's territory. Jiang Chen was ready to go at any time with the crystal coffin on his shoulder. Because the crystal coffin couldn't be placed in the Zulong Tower, Jiang Chen was very curious. There must be a reason behind this. However, Jiang Chen had no idea what the reason was. Xiao Yu, who was in the coffin, had her eyes closed. She seemed to have lost all signs of life. However, Jiang Chen wouldn't give up so easily. From today onwards, we'll never be separated, no matter where we go, Jiang Chen said in a low voice. He executed the Great Void technique and quickly left the Marshal Dan Hall. It would be best if he could escape, but if he couldn't, he could only fight with his life on the line. Jiang Chen's strength was damaged, so he could only choose to avoid the attack. It's Jiang Chen. He's coming out. Yan Zhao Wuji squinted his eyes, looking at Jiang Chen flying out of St. Marshal City from the Marshal Dan Palace. He became excited, as this was their last chance. Chase. Liao Tianxing nodded his head solemnly. The three of them quickly left the city and chased after Jiang Chen. That guy seems to be heavily injured. His speed isn't fast. Looks like our chance is here. I guess the negotiation with the Marshal Dan Hall has failed. Haha, although they've obtained the title of Divine Tier Alchemist, the Marshal Dan Hall isn't that easy to deal with. That guy wants to go against the Marshal Dan Hall. He won't have a good ending, Silver Fox sneered. Silver Fox sneered. Not long after, several half-step Emperor stage experts flashed past the heads of the three of them, and even Monarch Tianqi was amongst them. Could it be that there's some sort of enmity between Imperial Lord Tianqi and that fellow, Jiang Chen? Liao Tianxing was also quite curious. However, the Marshal Dan Hall had sent out 3 experts and an Emperor Realm expert to pursue Jiang Chen. It was conceivable that this guy must have caused some trouble in the Marshal Dan Halls. It was highly possible. Yan Zhao Wuji had the same thought. If Jiang Chen was killed by the people of the Marshal Dan Hall, then they wouldn't have to do anything. However, if an Emperor Realm expert were to join the fray, they would be able to influence the outcome of the battle. Jiang Chen would not be able to escape even if he grew wings. Let's wait and see, Liao Tianxing said. The three of them followed closely behind the experts of the Marshal Dan Hall. They didn't dare to act rashly. After all, if an Emperor Realm expert was enraged, they wouldn't have a good ending. How dare you? Give me back my coffin and give me your life. Monarch Tianqi's voice was like a great bell, rumbling like thunder, shaking the ice and snow of the surrounding mountains. Avalanches were everywhere, mountains were collapsing, rivers were flowing backwards, ancient trees were falling, flames were spewing out from the mountains, magma was tearing the mountain rocks apart. The might of an Emperor Realm was still unstoppable. Even if Monarch Tianqi was injured, an ordinary half-step Emperor Realm expert wouldn't be able to resist him. Now that Monarch Tianqi knew that Jiang Chen was just a feint and was already at the end of his tether, his aura was raised once again. This bastard, he even dared to trick him. This truly made him furious. Ever since he became an emperor, Monarch Tianqi had never been looked down upon like this. Now that he was defeated by a half-step Emperor Realm expert like Jiang Chen, it was too shameful. Therefore, he would never let Jiang Chen escape. He must regain his reputation. Jiang Chen's speed wasn't fast. After all, he was carrying the crystal coffin, and it was getting heavier and heavier. The feeling of being weighed down by 1,000 kilograms made Jiang Chen complain endlessly. Also, this crystal coffin was extremely strange. It couldn't be stored in a spatial treasure, and that was the most unbelievable part. Jiang Chen ran madly for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, he escaped from the Marshal Dan Hall's territory and heaved a sigh of relief. But at this moment, Monarch Tianqi had already caught up to him. A huge palm that blotted out the sun and sky appeared from the clouds. Get lost! Jiang Chen held the heavenly dragon sword in his hand and wielded the wind and clouds. With a slash of his sword, it was shocking. The limitless sword. The great Tao unification. At this moment, Monarch Tianqi's giant palm was split into 2 by Jiang Chen. But as the giant palm exploded, Monarch Tianqi's silhouette followed, piercing through the clouds and descended from the sky. The palm was like a thunderclap that shook the heavenly dragon sword. Jiang Chen retreated with a solemn expression. He raised his blade and fought against an Emperor Realm expert. At this moment, he had no way to retreat. Monarch Tianqi was calm and composed as he descended. He looked at Jiang Chen and sighed in his heart. It was this bastard who almost ruined his reputation and made him lose all confidence. Come and die. Imperial Lord Tianqi stared at Jiang Chen. This fella had already unleashed his full strength. No one knew how strong he was, but he was still able to force Imperial Lord Tianqi to such a state. If Jiang Chen was allowed to grow to the great Emperor Realm in the future, how powerful would he be? Under the heavens, who could be his opponent? Imperial Monarch Tianqi didn't dare imagine it. Because at this moment, he had to eliminate the weeds by the roots and nip them in the bud. This was what he loved to do the most. He wanted to nip all dangers in the bud, and he had to eliminate the slightest sign of trouble. This is what I wanted to say to you. Why? Do you really think that you can do whatever you want just because I let you go? Jiang Chen said with a smile. Following his chuckle, the 3 half-step Emperor Realm experts of the Marshal Dan Hall also arrived. Facing Jiang Chen, they were even more secretive. Although Jiang Chen's situation was not looking good, they might not dare to act recklessly. Monarch Tianqi was doubtful. He was not sure that Jiang Chen did not have the strength to fight anymore. Now that the 3 half-step Emperor Realm experts had arrived, he sent the 3 of them to test it out. If Jiang Chen really did not have the strength to fight anymore, then it's fine. If Jiang Chen still had the strength to fight, then the 3 of them would be the first to bear the brunt of the attack. Capture this bastard for me. There's no need to make any mistakes. Monarch Tianqi shouted. The 3 of them looked at each other and took a deep breath. They were also very fearful of Jiang Chen's domineering aura. They braced themselves and felt as if they were being forced to do something beyond their abilities. After all, they knew Jiang Chen's prowess better than anyone else. A single seal was enough to destroy everything. Right now, their hearts were filled with nervousness. They had no idea how strong Jiang Chen was. Monarch Tianqi was obviously frightened by Jiang Chen. That's why he wanted them to test it out. Chapter 37-26. What? Jiang Chen actually forced Imperial Emperor Tianqi to retreat? Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi was extremely careful when facing him now. How did this guy do it? Weren't martial emperors invincible? How could he be defeated by a half-step martial emperor like Jiang Chen? This battle wouldn't be as simple as it seemed. However, Jiang Chen was already exhausted from running for his life. His situation was worrisome, and it was no longer an easy task for him to turn the tide. Yan Zhao Wuji and Liao Tianxing's faces were solemn. If they could help the Marshal Dan Hall kill Jiang Chen now, it would be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. There's always a way out. I thought that I wouldn't have a chance to kill Jiang Chen anymore. But now, it seems like this guy is really asking for it. He had a great future and a good hand, but he played it too badly. Yan Zhao Wuji's lips curled into a sinister smile. The 3 of them were facing Jiang Chen from afar, stepping forward cautiously. Those who block me shall be killed without mercy. Jiang Chen carried the crystal coffin on his shoulder and the heavenly dragon treasure sword in his hand. He was domineering, like a war god that had fought hundreds of battles on the battlefield. He stood proudly between the heavens and earth, fearless and invincible. The 3 of them were frightened by Jiang Chen's prowess, but they had no way to retreat. They had to deal with Jiang Chen. This was Imperial Emperor Tianqi's order, and also their responsibility. Little rascal, don't try to be brave. Everyone, let's join hands and kill this guy. Good. You dare to go against my Marshal Dan Hall. I'm afraid you've lived for too long, humph. There's no need to speak anymore. Let's kill him first. The 3 of them held their divine weapons in their hands and rushed towards Jiang Chen with a trace of fear and dread. Jiang Chen shouted and the 3 of them instantly became dispirited. After witnessing Jiang Chen's prowess, the 3 of them naturally couldn't remain calm anymore. Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi was defeated by Jiang Chen. How awe-inspiring was that? How domineering was that? However, the 3 of them had no other choice but to fight Jiang Chen to the end. Fighting for their dignity, fighting for the glory of the Marshal Dan Hall. Jiang Chen's heroic spirit soared to the clouds as he charged forward with his sword in hand. Even though he was surrounded by 3 half-step great emperor experts, Jiang Chen was still calm and composed as he carried the coffin on his shoulder. Although he was injured, there was no Emperor Realm expert who could hurt him now. Jiang Chen roared in anger. The sword intent of the 22 sword revolved like a magnificent army. The sword intent swept across the sky and was invincible. The might of the 22 sword had raised Jiang Chen's swordsmanship to the pinnacle. Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi didn't dare to be careless, let alone them. The limitless sword had a beginning but no end. Its destination was the pinnacle of the sword. The 22 sword was just one move of the limitless sword. As for how far it could reach, it all depended on Jiang Chen's own fortune. Jiang Chen's expression was stern. His momentum swept across the heavens and earth. The 22 sword sealed the sky, forcing the 3 half-step sovereign realm experts to retreat. However, the 3 of them weren't easy to deal with. Even Dan Qiushang wasn't their opponent. At this moment, the 3 of them joined forces to resist Jiang Chen. Although the situation was difficult, it wasn't as if they couldn't retaliate at all. Countless blade lights and sword shadows, layers of clouds and lightning. Above the void, Jiang Chen was standing on a green cloud, sweeping across everything in his way. The Azure Dragon's 5 steps was ascending to the heavens. The 3 of them were getting more and more disorganized as they chased after Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen's steady attacks had caused the 3 of them to lose the strength to move forward. They had also lost their will to fight. Their hearts were filled with fear. Naturally, they couldn't fight against Jiang Chen. 5 Thunderbolts Edict. Jiang Chen waved the imperial edict in his hand. The power of lightning surged out and rained down. In the blink of an eye, the 3 of them were defeated. In the distance, Imperial Emperor Tianqi clenched his fists. This fellow was obviously holding on. If he didn't make a move now, when would he? This was his best chance. If he let Jiang Chen leave, it would be like letting the tiger return to the mountain. Brat, hand over your life. Imperial Emperor Tianqi traversed through the void and closed in on Jiang Chen at the speed of light. An incomparably huge palm descended from the sky like a guest from the void. Jiang Chen's pupils constricted. He wielded his sword and pierced through the sky, merging with the huge palm. Light and shadows interweaved. However, Imperial Emperor Tianqi's strength was still very strong. Although he was heavily injured, he was still stronger than Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen fought a few more people and fought with Imperial Emperor Tianqi. At this moment, his every step was a mess. Imperial Emperor Tianqi's huge palm also pushed Jiang Chen down from the sky. In the end, a mountain range was torn apart and Jiang Chen was pressed into the rocks of the canyon. Only then did the palm gradually dissipate. Dust flew everywhere and the wind howled. Countless beasts in the mountains and forests died here. They panicked and fled. Imperial Emperor Tianqi looked arrogantly at the peak of the sky. His eyes were cold as he looked at the mountain valley that had been turned into dust. In just a short moment, a rainbow light burst out from the ruins with a shocking aura. Jiang Chen stood up once more. He wiped the blood from the corner of his lips and stared at Imperial Emperor Tianqi. At this moment, Jiang Chen was filled with battle intent. He was like an undying god of war. As long as he was alive, as long as he had a breath left, he would not compromise. He would not hesitate. Because he wanted to stay alive and bring little you away from here. Not bad, you can still stand up. Then, give me another palm. Imperial Emperor Tianqi roared in rage. His thunderous strength was like a tidal wave that swept through the world. This kind of unstoppable ferocious might sent chills down one's spine. Jiang Chen took a deep breath and immediately slashed down with his saber. The Dao accumulation seal was executed once more. This time, Jiang Chen gave it his all and fought to the death with Imperial Emperor Tianqi. He had no other choice but to fight to the death. Heaven's Envy Seal. Imperial Emperor Tianqi had witnessed the terror of the Heaven's Envy Seal in the past. This time, when Jiang Chen executed it once more, Imperial Emperor Tianqi looked as if he was facing a great enemy. Heaven Imprisoning Palm. 2 rays of light intertwined with each other once again. Jiang Chen was sent flying backwards like a kite with a broken string. 10 miles below, he was unable to land on the ground. The collision between the two was like a comet brushing past each other. That kind of violent tremor even shook the entire world. At least within a radius of 10,000 miles, there seemed to be an earth-shattering earthquake. Volcanoes erupted, tsunamis raged, the surrounding mountains were shattered, and thousands of beasts roared. The scene was spectacular. Jiang Chen was in a sorry state. The terrifying aura spread out once more. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was worthy of being a martial emperor expert. Even when he was forced back by Jiang Chen's Heaven's Envy Seal, he could still stand proudly in the sky. Of course, the Dao accumulation seal was even stronger than his Heaven Imprisoning Palm. If it wasn't for his powerful foundation, ordinary martial emperors would have been annihilated by now. Imperial Emperor Tianqi took a deep breath and swallowed the blood that surged up his throat. Chapter 37-27. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was also shocked. He didn't expect Jiang Chen to have such a powerful combat strength. His strength had already been reduced to 70 to 80%. He wasn't in his peak condition right now. He didn't know if Jiang Chen could match his strength. Both of them stared at each other. Imperial Emperor Tianqi stopped his attack. Without absolute suppression and the confidence to kill Jiang Chen in one strike, he didn't dare to continue fighting Jiang Chen. If he failed, he might die on the spot. His reputation would go down the drain, and his name would go down the drain. His name would be tarnished for thousands of years. Ha ha ha, I just happened to pass by this place. Emperor Tianqi, it's my honor to meet you. Yan Zhao Wuji said with a smile. At this moment, it was finally time for him to attack. Imperial Emperor Tianqi narrowed his eyes and looked at Yan Zhao Wuji indifferently. Imperial Emperor Tianqi might not know, but I'm the supreme elder of the 8 Extremes sect. That brat Zhang Chen injured my clansmen. Today, I've gathered with the elders of the Mountain and Sea sect in the St. Martial City to capture Zhang Chen and kill him to vent my anger. I didn't expect to meet you here. Imperial Emperor, we're willing to work together with you to kill this brat to appease your anger. Yan Zhao Wuji, Liao Tiansheng and the others appeared. Imperial Emperor Tianqi nodded his head slightly. He already knew that there were people hiding in the depths, but they were all half-step emperors. At this moment, Yan Zhao Wuji appeared. But facing Imperial Emperor Tianqi, they didn't dare to act rashly. After all, a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was an emperor expert and an expert of the Martial Dan Hall. They didn't dare to touch the tiger's whiskers. Not to mention, they were planning to join forces with the Martial Dan Hall to kill Zhang Chen. That's fine. This brat is too ferocious. I've tried several times but failed to kill him. This time, I'll join forces with the elders of my clan. Imperial Lord Tianqi said indifferently. Yan Zhao Wuji and the others looked at the 3 elders of the Martial Dan Palace. 6 half-step Emperor realm experts once again took action against Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen was already at the end of his rope. Yan Zhao Wuji and the others were full of confidence in this battle. Thank you, Lord Emperor, for fulfilling our wish. We will definitely not disappoint you. Liao Tiansheng smiled. Now that Zhang Chen's strength had been depleted, it was time for them to beat him up. How could they let go of such a good opportunity? What a bunch of disgusting flies. Zhang Chen frowned. Yan Zhao Wuji and the rest had been waiting for an opportunity. Their appearance was within Zhang Chen's expectations. However, he could no longer fight anymore. The battle with Imperial Emperor Tianqi had exhausted all his evil qi and divine origin energy. Even his 3rd Dao accumulation was almost depleted. A half-step martial emperor had become a sick cat. Once bitten by a snake, twice shy. Imperial Emperor Tianqi was afraid that Zhang Chen would unleash a devastating attack and perish together with him. That's why he held back against Zhang Chen and didn't dare to push Zhang Chen into a desperate situation. But now, he could sit on the mountain and reap the spoils later. It saved him a lot of trouble. Wouldn't it be better if someone took the lead? These people seemed to have an irreconcilable enmity with Zhang Chen. Imperial Emperor Tianqi had heard about the matter between Mountain and Sea sect and Baji sect. It wasn't impossible for him to kill Zhang Chen with a borrowed knife. Moreover, these people were destined to rely on the Martial Dan Hall, so Imperial Emperor Tianqi was naturally high and mighty. Now, you should be thinking about how to die a more dignified death, Silver Fox sneered. Silver Fox sneered and stood with his hands clasped behind his back. 6 great half-step sovereign realm experts were gathered here, cooperating with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen would have been fearless if he wasn't injured. But now he was struggling at death's door. He could be ambushed by these fellows at any moment and die without mercy. Cut the crap. If you have the ability, then kill me first. Wishy-washy like a woman. Zhang Chen sneered. Even at this moment, he was still determined to die. As long as he had a breath left, he would protect his beloved from any harm. You're still so stubborn when you're at death's door. Looks like you're really stubborn. Fine, we'll send you on your last journey. Yan Zhao Wuji clenched his fist and punched out. Thunder rumbled through the 9 heavens. 6 rays of light soared into the sky, displaying the might of a half-step martial emperor. Zhang Chen's expression was solemn. He didn't dare to be negligent. This battle concerned his life and death. There was no way out. Let's see where you can escape to this time. Imperial Emperor Tianqi squinted his eyes and murmured. Zhang Chen didn't have the strength to fight anymore. But no one knew if this mad dog would choose to perish together with others. Young Master Chen Jiang. Qing Luo was struggling in her heart. At this moment, she didn't know if she should act or not. Facing 6 half-step martial emperors, her strength alone was like trying to put out a burning cart of firewood. It was impossible for her to resist. However, if she left like this, she would regret it for the rest of her life. Young Master Chen Jiang was the only person she admired in her life. Ever since she was young, she had always been a monstrous genius, the pearl in the hands of the elders of her clan. As a woman, she was not inferior to any man. No one could make her submit to him. However, the appearance of young Master Chen Jiang had made her feel extremely complicated and anxious. Everyone had feelings, even she wasn't a cold-blooded person. Young Master Chen Jiang was the best person she'd met after leaving her family. Handsome, skinny, dying for his beloved. Young Master Chen Jiang was unparalleled in the world. To Qing Luo, any one of them was extremely attractive. To her, young Master Chen Jiang was the best person in the world. A man should be like this, with a clear conscience to the heavens and a clear conscience to his heart. If I leave today, I won't be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life. Everyone needs to be crazy once in their life. I'm sorry. Please forgive my stubbornness. Jiang Chen was forced to retreat under the combined attack of Yan Zhao Wuji and the others. Every step he took was difficult. The 22 sword technique was on the verge of collapse. Without enough energy to support it, Jiang Chen couldn't unleash his sword intent to the fullest. He could only rely on the strength of the 9 dragons and 10 elephants to forcefully hold on. Facing 6 half-step great emperors, Jiang Chen was in a dire situation. Just as Jiang Chen was finding it difficult to move forward and was facing Yan Zhao Wuji's relentless pursuit, a green beam of light shot down from the sky. It was a long spear in his hand. The green blade was 9 feet long, and it was extremely soul-stirring. After forcing Yan Zhao Wuji back with a single strike, he stood with his head held high. Qing Luo. Jiang Chen furrowed his brows. He was already in a dangerous situation, and he didn't want anyone else to die with him. Chapter 37-28. Hurry up and leave. This is not a place you should be in, Jiang Chen said in a deep voice. However, Qing Luo was holding the purple-golden spear with red embellishment in her hand. She stood still like a mountain, completely blocking their attacks. It was not easy for a peak divine emperor to have such combat strength as she was facing 6 half-step sovereign realm experts. The water of the Luo River comes from the heavens and flows to the sea, never to return. Qing Luo's divine spear shone brightly. Purple-golden holy light rained down from the sky. The 6 of them did not stop their attacks. They might be afraid of Jiang Chen, but Qing Luo's strength was not even at the half-step emperor realm. They were fearless and used their full strength to block the spear shadows. The 6 of them continued to attack. Qing Luo had nowhere to hide and was forced to retreat. Puff! Yan Zhao Wuji took the lead and finally landed a palm strike on Qing Luo's shoulder. Blood gushed out, and Qing Luo's face gradually turned pale as she staggered backwards. Jiang Chen extended his hand and pulled Qing Luo into his embrace. Why are you so silly? To save a nobody like me, you're willing to risk your life. Jiang Chen frowned, he was worried. This lass was so silly that it made his heart ache. Shouldn't a person be crazy for once in their life? Young Master Jiang Chen? Qing Luo said with a bitter expression on her face, but she still could not hide the smile in her eyes. Jiang Chen, Chen Jiang, I should have known. Qing Luo's smile made Jiang Chen speechless. He sighed. How could he not know Qing Luo's identity? Born from a great clan, powerful and invincible. She came here for the painting. Who else could it be other than the senior sister of the god Luo clan? Even if Jiang Chen did not open it, he knew that it was the god Luo's scripture. However, a person must be trustworthy. He would not rob it. This was also why Qing Luo admired Jiang Chen. Even if he did not know what he was robbing, he knew that it must be a rare treasure. Otherwise, why would a heroine like her risk her life to steal it? It was just that both of them were well aware that they didn't poke through that layer of window paper. We're even now, am I right? The eldest senior sister of the Luo god clan? Jiang Chen said. Back then, he had heard from De Huang that the big sister of the Luo god clan was someone that even he had to avoid and search for the Luo god scripture. At this moment, the 2 of them never imagined that they would meet in such a manner. Qing Luo was taken aback, then nodded. That's right, I'm the great senior sister of the Luo god clan, Luo Qing. Although the 2 of them were facing each other with sincerity, they didn't feel close to each other. They even felt a little awkward and hesitant. However, since she had already made her choice, Qing Luo wouldn't regret it. She already knew that Jiang Chen and Chen Jiang were the same person. She just didn't want herself to be destroyed in the fairy tale. In her heart, there was only that unruly young man, young Master Chen Jiang. Luo god clan. An ancient and mysterious clan. Compared to the great achievements of the Shenyuan clan in the ancient times, the Luo god clan was filled with a mysterious feeling. The Dragon River and Luo River carried the river diagram on their backs. The Luo god clan was the origin of the 8 trigrams Tao. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. They had already guessed it, but neither of them poked through that layer of window paper. Now, Luo Qing was fearless and risked her life to save Jiang Chen. This made Jiang Chen's heart filled with gratitude. I never thought that even the Luo God clan would interfere. However, you alone are not enough. If it was the old man from the Luo God clan, it would be interesting. Yan Zhao Wuji sneered. The killing intent in his eyes intensified. If no one could save Jiang Chen, he would definitely die. Today, with Monarch Tianqi here, who could save him? Then try. If you want to kill young Master Chen Jiang, you'll have to get past me first. Luo Qing's aura was like a rainbow. Her beautiful eyes were cold and fearless. You're courting death. Silver Fox coldly snorted. The six of them no longer spoke and charged forth. A mere lass from the Luo God clan would not be able to shake their determination to kill Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen pulled Luo Qing behind him. Even if it was extremely dangerous, Jiang Chen was not willing to stay behind a woman. Jiang Chen and Luo Qing were forced to retreat. It was already difficult for them to move forward. There was still a huge gap between Luo Qing's strength and the 6 quasi-emperor realm experts. A smile rose on the corner of Monarch Tianqi's lips. As long as he could kill Jiang Chen, his sister would be able to return to his side. Even the Saint-grade pellet was snatched away by Jiang Chen. He would not allow him to leave. At this moment, it was Jiang Chen's time of death. Jiang Chen was constantly recovering his strength, but it was still difficult for him to continue. Although he was standing in front of Luo Qing, the other party's momentum was too ferocious. Their injuries were getting heavier and heavier, and their lives were hanging by a thread. Get lost! Jiang Chen and Luo Qing were already on the brink of death. Under the hands of 6 quasi-emperor realm experts, they were on the brink of death. A cry was heard as a blood-red divine weapon appeared in front of Yan Zhao Wuji and the others. If you want to kill Jiang Chen, you'll have to ask the blood Qi Feng Tian halberd in my hand first. Wu Yunfeng said indifferently with a cold expression. Wu Yunfeng, you bastard, why don't you open your dog eyes and see who's here? You dare to defy the monarch's order? You're simply courting death. Wu Yunfeng, get lost. You're just a city lord. What qualifications do you have to strut around here? How could my Marshal Dan Hall raise such a treacherous thing like you? Kneel down and accept your death, and the monarch might leave you with a complete corpse. The 3 elders of Marshal Dan Hall were infuriated. They were also forced back by the terrifying might of the blood Qi Feng Tian halberd. They did not expect Wu Yunfeng's strength to be so powerful. However, what was truly frightening was the blood Qi Feng Tian halberd in his hand. Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi's eyes narrowed slightly. This divine weapon was truly extraordinary. Wu Yunfeng's expression was cold and unmoving. He completely ignored the 3 elders of Marshal Dan Hall and looked at Jiang Chen and said in a low voice, "Today, I'll escort you out of here. Brother Jiang, it can be considered as my Wu Yunfeng repaying the debt of gratitude." Wu Yunfeng's smile was mellow. The camaraderie between men was needless to say. Wu Yunfeng had always regarded Jiang Chen as his greatest benefactor. The blood Qi Feng Tian halberd was the fruit of his life's work. Even after thousands of years, he was unable to complete it. However, Jiang Chen had helped him fulfill his wish. Therefore, Wu Yunfeng had always been grateful to Jiang Chen. Now that Jiang Chen was in trouble, he naturally would not shirk his responsibility. With the blood Qi Feng Tian halberd in his hand, he had to protect Jiang Chen. Brother Wu, you're exaggerating. Chapter 37-29. Jiang Chen knew that Wu Yun was doing this to repay a debt of gratitude. However, the price he had to pay was too great for him. Once he started a war with Imperial Emperor Tianqi, there would be no place for Wu Yunfeng in the Martial Pellet Hall. Regardless of success or failure, he would bear the infamy of being a traitor. He was destined to never become a member of the Martial Pellet Hall. Wu Yunfeng gave up a lifetime of glory to fight for Jiang Chen, fighting against the people of the Martial Pellet Hall. This made Jiang Chen sigh. Wu Yunfeng was worthy of being a hero. A drop of water should be repaid with a spring of water. Wu Yunfeng displayed this to the fullest. Others might not understand, but Wu Yunfeng knew that the most important thing in his life was to refine the Qi blood polearm. Even in the eyes of Jiang Chen, it was just a divine weapon. But in Wu Yunfeng's heart, it was akin to giving him a new lease of life. That was his life's pursuit. Jiang Chen had fulfilled his dream. To Wu Yunfeng, the prosperity and wealth of the secular world were just fleeting clouds. So what if he didn't want it? The Martial Pellet Hall was full of talents. He didn't think that the Saint Martial City wouldn't be able to survive without him. But if he didn't make a move, Jiang Chen might die here. Wu Yunfeng held the Qi blood polearm in his hand, his battle intent soaring. Imperial Emperor Tianqi, I'm sorry. If you want to kill Jiang Chen today, you have to go through me first. Looks like you're determined to betray my Martial Pellet Hall. Monarch Tianqi stared at Wu Yunfeng. To him, Wu Yunfeng's strength wasn't enough to pose a threat. However, the divine weapon in his hands was something that even he felt trepidation towards. Seems like this fellow wasn't someone easy to deal with. If the Imperial Emperor is willing to let Jiang Chen live, I, Wu Yunfeng, am willing to accept my punishment. Wu Yunfeng held the Qi blood polearm tightly as he spoke with his head held high. Are you threatening me? Imperial Emperor Tianqi said with a faint smile. He had already enveloped Wu Yunfeng and the others with his Emperor Realm soul. Wu Yunfeng's expression was solemn, and he did not dare to be careless. The outcome of this battle depended on himself and the Qi blood polearm in his hand. Wu Yunfeng doesn't dare. Your Majesty is mighty and powerful, and I am no match for you. But today, I must accompany brother Jiang Chen to the death. Wu Yunfeng's persistence made Jiang Chen and Luo Qing admire him very much, because they were both such people. If it wasn't for the purity and sincerity in their hearts, Luo Qing wouldn't be standing here. All right, then kill them without mercy. Imperial Lord Tianqi spoke slowly. His voice was calm, but it was filled with boundless killing intent. You refuse to take the path to heaven. Wu Yunfeng, I didn't expect that we would have the chance to fight again. Back then, outside the Saint Martial City, you tried everything you could to stop me. I couldn't refuse you because you are, after all, the Saint Martial City's city lord. But today, you even dared to disobey the words of Imperial Lord Tianqi. You're simply courting death. Yan Zhao Wuji said with a smile. With Imperial Lord Tianqi supporting them, they had nothing to fear. You didn't want to be the city lord, but you chose to get involved with a traitor like Jiang Chen. Today will be the day of your death. The elders of Martial Dan Hall looked stern as they glared at Wu Yunfeng. The 6 of them were already prepared to fight Wu Yunfeng again. But at this moment, Wu Yunfeng's strength was obviously stronger. With the Qi blood polearm in his hand, the 6 of them did not dare to be careless. Brother Wu, be careful. Jiang Chen warned in a deep voice. I was also worried about not having an opponent. Let's see how strong this Qi blood polearm is. Wu Yunfeng was not afraid of the 6 of them at all. As an emptiness emperor, he was one step closer to the Emperor Realm. He was stronger than a half-step Emperor Realm expert. That was his strength. With the Qi blood polearm in his hand, as long as Imperial Lord Tianqi didn't take action, he was absolutely confident that he could deal with these people. Wu Yunfeng's expression was cold as he gripped the Qi blood polearm tightly. Fighting against the 6 of them by himself, he was domineering. The Qi blood polearm's might was like a dragon, slaughtering the heavens. Rays of blood-red light filled the air. Wind, thunder, and rain whistled past. Wu Yunfeng's cultivation was profound. With the addition of the Qi blood polearm, it was like adding wings to a tiger. Even when facing the encirclement of Yan Zhao Wuji and the others, he was still very confident. He fought steadily, advancing by retreating. At this moment, the Qi blood polearm revealed its true ferocious might. Wu Yunfeng let out a long roar. He was in the middle of a fierce battle. This was the most satisfying battle he had ever fought since he had obtained the Qi Fengtian halberd. The terrifying might that erupted from the Qi Fengtian halberd caused even Yan Zhao Wuji and the others to retreat, not daring to face it head-on. Come on! Wu Yunfeng bellowed. Gradually, he gained complete control of the Qi Fengtian halberd. Although he had refined the Qi Fengtian halberd, he had fused with it during the battle. His battle prowess didn't increase at all. In fact, he was starting to gain the upper hand. Wu Yunfeng's domineering aura was overflowing. His might was unparalleled. Rays of polearm shadows soared into the sky, sweeping across the area. The Qi blood polearm transformed into blood-red dragons that swept across the land. Mountains and peaks crumbled continuously. Its might was like that of a tiger. With a peerless divine weapon, Wu Yunfang caused Yan Zhao Wuji and the others to complain incessantly. Even with the 6 of them working together, Wu Yunfang still had the absolute upper hand. This was a great humiliation. Although Wu Yunfang was strong, he was not that terrifying. However, with the powerful combination of the Qi blood pole arm, his means were already unparalleled. The 6 of them found it hard to resist. Without a divine weapon that surpassed Wu Yunfang's, they could only passively take the beating. If this continued, they would very likely be defeated by Wu Yunfang one by one. Wu Yunfang, you ungrateful bastard. How has my Marshal Dan Hall treated you? How dare you collude with outsiders? Now, even Monarch Tianqi can't order you around. You are too arrogant. The Marshal Dan Hall's elder was furious. However, he was not a match for Wu Yunfang. The traitor who wielded the Qi blood pole arm was too terrifying. They advanced cautiously at every step and found it hard to continue. If this continued, they would most likely be killed by Wu Yunfang's pole arm. Wu Yunfang sneered disapprovingly. The Marshal Dan Hall is indeed a good place. However, it is also a place that is filled with filth. With my means, how can I be on equal footing with Dan Shang? The Saint Marshal City was originally controlled by me alone. However, your Marshal Dan Hall added a city lord to be on equal footing with me. You even called him the city lord of 2 cities. Ha ha! This must be your scheme. You are afraid that I will be the only one in power. Who knows how many benefits Dan Shang has given you? Now you want to talk to me about the benefits of the Marshal Dan Hall? You know very well how the Marshal Dan Hall has treated me. Wu Yunfang reprimanded. His face was filled with unswerving determination. At this moment, he was no longer the puppet city lord that was guarding the city. Instead, he was like a peerless king that wielded a pole arm. Chapter 37:30. You are a wolf with wild ambitions, an untamed wolf cub. My Marshal Dan Palace will not rest until you are dead. The 3 elders gritted their teeth in hatred. However, their strength was far from Wu Yunfang's. The 6 of them became a one-sided battle. Wu Yunfang swept across the universe, unparalleled in the world. His peerless heroism caused countless people to look up to him in awe. As expected of the city lord of Saint Marshal City, Wu Yunfang's strength is too strong, especially the blood Qi Fangtian halberd in his hand. I don't think Wu Yunfang will be able to withstand 10 moves from him. Luo Qing said solemnly. He glanced at Jiang Chen. Wu Yunfang was like an indomitable god of death. No one could stop his footsteps. If it's only the few of them, there's no harm. However, Imperial Emperor Tianqi is eyeing them covetously. I think he's going to take action soon. Jiang Chen said in a low voice. Previously, Imperial Emperor Tianqi was afraid of Jiang Chen. Now that Imperial Emperor Tianqi no longer had the strength to fight, there was no way Jiang Chen would let Wu Yunfang go. Although Wu Yunfang was heavily injured, an Emperor Realm expert naturally couldn't be ignored. Without the 3 world shocking seals, it would be impossible for Jiang Chen to defeat an Emperor Realm expert. After all, the difference between their realms was like heaven and earth. Jiang Chen finally understood one thing. Why was the blood Qi Fangtian halberd in Wu Yunfang's hand so unparalleled and domineering? Why were the divine weapons in his hands unable to display their peerless might? What Jiang Chen lacked was an opportunity. An opportunity to break through the Emperor Realm. Once he reached the Emperor Realm, all the divine weapons in Jiang Chen's hands would be able to display unimaginable power. Whether it was the Zulong Tower, the Cold River Stone, the Heavenly Dragon Sword or the Myriad Qi Cauldron, all of these divine weapons were Emperor Realm divine weapons. In the past, when they were in the hands of the Emperor Realm experts, they could shake the world. However, when they were in the hands of Jiang Chen, they could not display their brilliance. Without the strength of a sovereign realm expert, one wouldn't be able to unleash its true power. Once Jiang Chen breaks through to the sovereign realm, he would be like a fish in the sea, a bird in the sky, a fish in the sea, a fish in the sea, a bird in the sky. However, no matter how powerful his means were, no matter how overbearing his ability was, he did not have the might of an Emperor Realm expert. Only an Emperor Realm expert was qualified to possess a peerless divine weapon. At that time, Jiang Chen's strength would instantly skyrocket to a whole new level. Wu Yunfang was valiant and valiant. His aura shook the heavens and earth. With a sweep of his halberd, the ground was covered in smoke and a storm was swept up. Yan Zhao Wuji, Liao Tiansheng and the others were all defeated by him and staggered. A tiny speck of light dares to compete with the radiance of the moon. Today, I will let you experience the might of an Emperor realm expert. Monarch Tianqi said coldly. He slowly clenched his fists and took a step forward. The void of 10,000 li shattered and the earth trembled. His might was unstoppable. A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even though Emperor Lord Tianqi was injured, he wasn't someone the Martial Cloud Alliance could compare to. At this moment, Emperor Lord Tianqi came crashing down. He struck out with his palm, looking mighty and awe-inspiring. The pupils of Martial Cloud's side narrowed. They retreated as though they were facing a great enemy, wanting to avoid this palm strike. However, Imperial Lord Tianqi was already prepared for this. The terrifying palm strike had practically sealed off all paths of retreat for the Martial Cloud side. Cloud Startling Halberd. Wu Yunfeng gave it his all, and together with the Blood Qi Fengtian halberd, he struck out a powerful strike. The void was filled with blood, making one feel extremely pressured. You are just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Monarch Tianqi's expression was cold. Under his palm, Wu Yunfeng was directly suppressed, flying hundreds of feet away. He was in a sorry state and the divine might from before was nowhere to be seen. Monarch Tianqi stood with his hands behind his back. He was unstoppable in the void. Amidst the dust and rubble, Wu Yunfeng slowly stood up. He held onto the Blood Qi Fengtian halberd and struggled to lean against it. His face was ferocious and his arrogance did not diminish. Again, Wu Yunfeng took a step forward. An Emperor realm expert was just Uzo. Since he couldn't kill him in one strike, he would be able to last until the end. You don't know what's good for you. You deserve to die. Pooey. That's right. My Martial Dan Hall has such a scum. We have lost face. Let's see how Lord Monarch Tianqi deals with us today. Facing Wu Yunfeng, all of them put up a strong front. Their methods were not as tyrannical as Wu Yunfeng's and they could only rely on Monarch Tianqi's existence. Zhang Chen's eyes gradually turned cold. His gaze was like an arrow as he slowly stood out. Leave these scums to me first. After I kill them, I will help you fight against Tianqi. Zhang Chen carried the coffin and looked at Wu Yunfeng. He held his saber horizontally and stood between the heavens and earth. He was like the backbone of a mountain, fearless and fearless. Wind and rain would eventually pass, but he, Zhang Chen, would never lower his head. Young Master Chen Jiang, you. Luo Qing looked at Zhang Chen worriedly. Wu Yunfeng was the same. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Zhang Chen doubtfully. Brother Jiang, do you still have the strength to fight? Wu Yunfeng asked worriedly. Tianqi, after I take care of these scums under you, I will fight with you. Zhang Chen took a step forward. He held the heavenly dragon sword in his hand and pointed it at Yan Zhao Wuji and the rest. What a big tone. Have you forgotten who was beaten to the point where he couldn't even fight back? Ha! Just an arrow at the end of its flight. Why do you need to put up a desperate struggle? I will grant you death and leave your corpse intact. Isn't that good? There are always some people who think they are smart. Do you think we are weak? Yan Zhao Wuji and the three elders of the Martial Dan Hall were furious. They had been fighting intensely with Wu Yunfeng for a long time. They were forced to retreat with every move and couldn't display their half-step martial monarch prowess. Now that Zhang Chen was like an arrow at the end of its flight, what else did they have to be afraid of? The six of them would definitely tear him apart. Zhang Chen, Yan Zhao Wuji, have to admit that you are indeed strong and majestic. You are even a peerless genius. However, you are too arrogant and conceited. You don't put anyone in your eyes. If you stayed in the Martial Dan Hall, I wouldn't dare to do anything to you. However, you went against Imperial Emperor Tianqi. You are simply courting death. How can I let you live? You asked for it. No one can take it for you. Dang. From now on, there will be no more Zhang Chen in this world. Yan Zhao Wuji clenched his fists tightly. His aura was still strong, as if he had already killed Zhang Chen. That's right. Today, my mountain and sea sect swears to send you into reincarnation. Liao Tianxing's palm was extremely powerful and domineering. 6 half-step sovereign realm experts were about to kill Zhang Chen. Let's do it. Yin shouted coldly and took the lead to attack. Chapter 37-31. After Silver Fox, Yan Zhao Wuji and the others also acted quickly, surrounding Jiang Chen in the center. However, Jiang Chen was not flustered at all. Even Imperial Emperor Tianqi had to face Sword 22 head-on, not to mention them. Ashura Sword Formation. Activate. In the blink of an eye, Jiang Chen retreated in order to advance. In an instant, the sky was in chaos, and the 9 heavens and 10 earths were sealed. Yan Zhao Wuji and the others' expressions changed, and they looked at Jiang Chen in confusion. Another sword formation? Do you have any other abilities? Jiang Chen, looks like you're really at your wit's end. Silver Fox said with a sneer. He knew about Jiang Chen's sword formation, but he didn't expect that Jiang Chen would use it again at this critical moment. Who would give a half-step sovereign realm expert the chance to do so? Who would be afraid of his mere sword formation? Is that so? Then let's have a trial. Help me see how good this sword formation is. Jiang Chen smiled indifferently. In an instant, the formation was formed. Above the heavens, 108 mid-grade primal origin divine swords swept across the void. The Ashura sword formation swept across the 8 desolate lands, trapping the 6 people within it. At that moment, Wu Yunfang was completely dumbfounded. Fuck. 108 mid-grade primal origin divine swords. What kind of motherfucker was this? Not to mention those who had never seen the world, even he, a master refiner, couldn't help but feel his scalp go numb. 108 mid-grade primal origin divine swords gathered to form a sword formation. Even he didn't dare to imagine how terrifying it was. Domineering. Wu Yunfang was speechless. He couldn't even find any words to describe how domineering Jiang Chen was. This Ashura sword formation made him feel a chill down his spine. The 6 people's expressions changed. What did primal origin divine swords mean? Although the 6 of them had primal origin divine swords, they were only low-grade. Jiang Chen had 108 mid-grade primal origin divine swords. They were completely invincible. This was simply a hellish killing formation. Didn't you say that his formation couldn't withstand a single blow? Liao Tiansheng glared at Silver Fox, his heart trembling. The 6 people held their breath. The Ashura sword formation had already activated. Their lives finally felt threatened. Silver Fox didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Back then, Jiang Chen's strength was indeed rather weak. He was only at the mid-divine emperor realm. His sword formation's power couldn't do anything to a half-step emperor realm expert. Who knew that he would have grown so fast in just a few years? Moreover, it had changed from a low-grade primordial essence treasure to a middle-grade primordial essence treasure. This wasn't just 10 plus 10, but 10 times 10. Silver Fox knew that Jiang Chen was now able to fight against an Emperor Realm expert. Now that the formation was activated, he was like a completely different person. I don't believe that he can sustain this formation. It won't be so easy to kill me, Yan Zhao Wuji. Wu Chen and Wu Yan, Feng, and said. I Wuji Feng said. Yan. Whether you believe it or not, it's right there. Neither increasing nor decreasing. Jiang Chen's lips curled up. His eyes were like torches. He moved his palm and waved the Heavenly Dragon Sword. With the Heavenly Dragon Sword as the eye of the formation, the 108 mid-grade origin divine swords finally burst out. What a terrifying sword formation. Emperor Tianqi wanted to stop them, but he was blocked by Wu Yunfang and Luo Qing. At this moment, Emperor Tianqi was already severely injured. Otherwise, how could they possibly be a match for a great emperor? The word terrifying came out from Emperor Tianqi's mouth. It had already proved something. However, the people facing the Ashura sword formation were Yan Zhao Wuji and the others. One could imagine their situation. Save me, Emperor Tianqi, save me. The 3 elders of the Martial Dan Hall had a drastic change in their expressions. Their bodies trembled. They couldn't resist the domineering Ashura sword formation. In just a few breaths, they were already heavily injured. Sword after sword rain shot across the sky with unstoppable momentum. The terrifying sword aura made their hearts palpitate. That kind of speed and power had completely suppressed them to the point that they couldn't even lift their heads. Yan Zhao Wuji and the others were also beaten to the point that they didn't know which way was north. The terror of the Ashura sword formation was displayed to its fullest at this moment. Although Emperor Tianqi wanted to help them, he might not be able to break the Ashura sword formation with his current strength. Not to mention that Wu Yunfang and Luo Qing were entangling with each other. It was impossible for him to help them resolve their crisis. Get excited. My Ashura sword formation. Jiang Chen's eyes were dazzling as he unleashed all his means. The divine origin energy in his body was also unleashed. The domineering Ashura sword formation continued to rise. In the end, Yan Zhao Wuji and the others were all pierced through by thousands of swords. The might of the Ashura sword formation was unparalleled. In the end, when the great Yu soul forming light was unleashed, the 6 people's soul intent was absorbed by the great Yu soul forming light. They died without a complete corpse and their souls were extinguished forever. Jiang Chen's face changed. The divine origin energy in his body was almost completely sucked out. At this moment, Yan Zhao Wuji and the others were all killed by Jiang Chen. Even Emperor Tianqi took a deep breath. He didn't expect Jiang Chen's means to be so domineering. That Ashura sword formation was something that even he had to avoid. However, Wu Yunfang and Luo Qing still couldn't contend against Emperor Tianqi. The 2 of them didn't have the slightest initiative and were heavily injured by Emperor Tianqi. Jiang Chen squinted his eyes. The soul energy in his body surged crazily. Great soul derivation technique. Soul destruction. Jiang Chen unleashed all his means. The Emperor Realm's soul energy swept across the horizon. Emperor Tianqi's face changed drastically. Although he was prepared, Jiang Chen's soul attack was too terrifying. He didn't expect that his soul energy would be weaker than Jiang Chen's. Puff! Emperor Tianqi was blown away, spurting out blood. This was the second time that Jiang Chen injured him. Emperor Tianqi's face was extremely gloomy. He knew that he couldn't stay here any longer. Otherwise, he didn't know what other tricks Jiang Chen had up his sleeves. The mountains will never change. Let's wait and see, Jiang Chen. Imperial Lord Tianqi roared furiously with boundless unwillingness and resentment as he transformed into a ray of light that shot into the sky and vanished at the ends of space. Jiang Chen finally let out a sigh of relief. He slumped to the ground and his face turned ugly. He put down the crystal coffin in his hand and collapsed. Currently, he was already at the end of his rope. Young Master Chen Jiang, are you all right? Luo Qing hugged Jiang Chen. She was still used to calling him young Master Chen Jiang. I won't die for now. Chapter 37-32. Wu Yunfang could not help but give a thumbs up to Jiang Chen and said in a low voice, Brother Jiang, your methods are simply too domineering. I can't compare to you. Wu Yunfang admired Jiang Chen from the bottom of his heart. This guy was simply an unparalleled all-around warrior. Whether it was alchemy or refining weapons, he was able to do it easily and even suffocate others. Such a person was too terrifying. Even an Emperor Realm expert was ruthlessly killed by him. How much ability did he need to do that? Wu Yunfang admired Jiang Chen from the bottom of his heart. You're still not dead but not alive. I almost died here. Jiang Chen said with a bitter smile. If it wasn't for Brother Wu's help, I would probably be on the road to hell. It's nothing. It's not worth mentioning. Wu Yunfang waved his hand and said with a smile. He felt at ease as long as Jiang Chen was fine. As for you, you will definitely be pursued by them after leaving the Martial Dan Hall. Jiang Chen was a little worried about Wu Yunfang. Wu Yunfang shook his head and said, This matter is a huge scandal. Even if they want to chase after me, they will definitely do it in secret. After leaving the Martial Dan Hall, the world is so big that I can go anywhere I want. Even if I'm not in the Central Region Divine Land, my martial cloud side might not necessarily be caught by them. Jiang Chen nodded his head. He was very grateful and did not say anything else. The more he said, the more it would make people feel like he was being sentimental. Since that's the case, I won't stay any longer. Brother Jiang, we are fated to meet again. Ha ha! Wu Yunfang turned around and left, laughing loudly. He was extremely delighted. This made Jiang Chen feel that Wu Yunfang's loyalty was something that he admired greatly. Jiang Chen glanced at Luo Qing and smiled. Luo Qing also nodded his head and did not say anything else. Words of thanks would make people feel like they were strangers. At this moment, his gaze fell upon the crystal coffin in front of him. Xiao Yu's elegant and refined face was so beautiful that it caused Jiang Chen's heart to wrench in pain. After so many years, he was finally able to hold the love of his heart in his hands. However, she was already unconscious. Jiang Chen had never forgotten his mission. The meaning of his existence was to find Xiao Yu. His heart was constantly thinking about her, but he had no way of knowing where she was. Even when he stood at the peak of the Central Plains, he was still unable to obtain any news of Xueqi. If it wasn't for a freak combination of factors that allowed him to help Monarch Tianqi repair the Saint Grade pill, he might never know where Xueqi was. This time, he had finally rescued Xueqi, and she had survived by a hair's breadth. Jiang Chen's heart was filled with both sorrow and joy. He had finally fulfilled his heart's desire, and he had finally fulfilled his heart's desire. Once upon a time, he was fearless and only sought the truth, only to find the love of his heart. Sister Ning, Qingqing, all of them were here, but Xueqi was nowhere to be found. As time passed, Jiang Chen's hard work had finally paid off. At this moment, Jiang Chen tightly hugged the crystal coffin as tears of joy flowed down his face. He was no longer a strong man, but a husband who missed his wife. Luo Qing's eyes turned moist at this moment. She could clearly feel the love and longing that Chen Jiang had for the woman in the coffin. It was something that no one else could compare to. Although she was quietly lying in the crystal coffin, Luo Qing was envious of her. She wished that she was the one lying in the crystal coffin. If the two of them had been in love for a long time, they wouldn't be together day and night. However, they must have been separated for so many years for Chen Jiang to be so heartbroken. Back then, when De Huang entered the god Luo clan, it was the day they separated. Luo Qing knew that no one knew how dangerous it was for Jiang Chen to enter the divine world from the 9 prefectures' immortal world. Although the god Luo clan had coveted Jiang Chen's inheritance of the craftsman god, it wasn't important to Luo Qing anymore. At this moment, Chen Jiang's value far exceeded that of the craftsman god. Only Luo Qing could understand his existence. He was an all-round warrior. Deep feelings couldn't last forever. Being able to stay by the side of the one she loved was a great joy. However, Jiang Chen and the one she loved didn't have much time left. It would be better if she could stay by young Master Chen Jiang's side like she did. Even if she couldn't be with him, she could at least be with him. Everyone had their own stubbornness, and it was the same for love. Luo Qing didn't know if she had truly fallen in love with Chen Jiang, but at the very least, she would never forget the unrestrained and brilliant Chen Jiang for the rest of her life. Otherwise, why would she risk her life to go crazy for once and fight together with young Master Chen Jiang? Now that she had survived the calamity, it was a good thing for her. However, the feeling she had for Chen Jiang gradually faded away at this moment. That was because she knew that no matter what, it was impossible for her to make young Master Chen Jiang miss her more than the woman in the crystal coffin. It should be a good thing that I found my big sister. Luo Qing smiled, but she was filled with jealousy in her heart. It was the same for every woman. She was once all-powerful, and no one in the god Luo clan could compare to her. She had a genius disciple that dominated the world, and was one of the top of the ancient clans. She was a heroine, but before her enemy, she couldn't muster up that kind of coldness and disdain. Yeah, it's a good thing. I should be happy. Jiang Chen said with a big laugh. The joy in his heart was beyond words. With a wave of her hand, a Saint Grade pellet appeared in her hand. Xueqi, you should wake up after eating this pellet, right? Jiang Chen said. You can't. This Saint Grade pellet might be powerful, but its energy isn't balanced right now. You should know that better than me. You're just worrying too much. A Saint Grade pellet might be good, but it should be an incomplete Saint Grade pellet, right? Luo Qing's words made Jiang Chen realize that he had been too anxious. He never thought that the Saint Grade pellet wouldn't be able to recover completely. If she ate it now, it might have the opposite effect. Jiang Chen smiled bitterly as he looked at Luo Qing with gratitude. Thank you very much. I was too worried. Jiang Chen calmed his heart. He knew that he couldn't be impatient if he wanted Xueqi to wake up. It won't be easy to recover this Saint Grade pellet. I'm afraid that I won't be able to gather all the treasures in a short period of time. Jiang Chen smiled bitterly. The bitterness on the corner of his lips was unbearable. The Nantung Divine Region, the peak of the Southern Sea, the violet bamboo forest. I should be able to help you find the method to recover the Saint Grade pellet. Chapter 37-33. The peak of the Southern Sea, the purple bamboo forest. Jiang Chen murmured with a hint of longing in his eyes. He wondered if Tyrant was still in the Nantung Divine Region. It's the place where Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara passed away in the past. It's filled with boundless Tao and has an extraordinary charm, especially the peak of the Southern Sea. Countless experts have said that for hundreds of millions of years, many people have lost their way there. When they came out, they could sense how terrifying the purple bamboo forest was. However, they couldn't find their way in. It's the place with the densest spiritual qi in the entire divine world. Countless people are looking forward to it. Luo Qing said in a low voice as he spoke. The peak of the southern sea is known as the last pure land in the divine world. It's also the only place that no one dares to step into. I don't know why, but the peak of the southern sea is filled with secrets. However, it's also filled with endless possibilities. Thank you. Jiang Chen cupped his fists and thanked Luo Qing from the bottom of his heart. You don't have to thank me. I'm more than happy to be able to help young Master Chen Jiang, Luo Qing said with a smile. Jiang Chen was startled. He smiled bitterly and nodded his head. Luo Qing, Qing Luo, she still likes to call me young Master Chen Jiang. Since that's the case, I'll call you that. Then I'll take my leave. See you later, Jiang Chen said with a stern expression. He couldn't wait to go to the peak of the southern sea, the place that was known as the last pure land in the divine world. Wait. Luo Qing suddenly stopped Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen turned around and looked at him silently. After a while, Luo Qing calmed down and said in a low voice, Young Master Chen Jiang, I'm afraid that I won't be able to return after today. From today onwards, there will be no more Qing Luo. Once I've gathered the 7 directions God Luo scripture, I'll definitely come back to look for you. You must wait for me, Jiang Chen. Finished speaking, Luo Qing turned around and left. She didn't want to see Jiang Chen's back as he left. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold back her tears. This time, she only had one mission, and that was to search for the God Luo scripture. Now that the God Luo scripture had slipped from her hands, she didn't know how to face her clansmen. However, she knew that it was impossible for her to fight with Jiang Chen now. When she found the 7 directions God Luo scripture, she would definitely look for Jiang Chen. She hoped that that moment would never come. Jiang Chen left. The summit of the southern sea was his final destination. It was the last pure land of the immortal world, the place with the densest spiritual energy, and the place where Mithraea Zazai had passed away in meditation. All of these caused Jiang Chen to be filled with curiosity and yearning for the summit of the southern sea. He hoped that he would be able to find Tyrant there. Jiang Chen sighed. What he disdained the most was lovesickness. How could he not understand Luo Qing's worries? However, when the two of them meet again, things will definitely be different. Chen Jiang was no longer Jiang Chen, and Qing Luo was no longer Luo Qing. Everyone had their own destinies. However, they were 2 parallel lines that shouldn't have intersected. The moment they intertwined, there would always be an unresolvable and chaotic sorrow of separation. Jiang Chen carried the crystal coffin. At that moment, the battle intent in his chest soared to the heavens. He headed straight for the summit of the southern sea. No one could stop him, not even the heavens. Jiang Chen's name had spread throughout the entire divine continent within a year. At the summit of the Holy Land, Jiang Chen had shaken the Baji sect, flattened the Mountain Sea sect, and fought the Martial Pellet Hall. It had already become a story that had been spread far and wide. It had even been written into a book that was enthusiastically discussed in the central continent. The Mountain Sea sect's momentum had collapsed. Everyone in the Baji sect was depressed. The Martial Pellet Hall had also become Jiang Chen's greatest pursuer. Countless experts of the Martial Pellet Hall had come out at this time and began to search for traces of Jiang Chen. They dug 3 feet into the ground in the central continent, as if they weren't willing to let go of the fellow that had disgraced them. After Monarch Tianqi returned to the Martial Pellet Hall, he had gathered his forces and began a carpet search. The world was vast, and he would definitely not let Jiang Chen go. Although the Mountain Sea sect and the Baji sect were furious at Jiang Chen, they no longer had the will to resist after knowing that all the grand elders of their sects had been annihilated. Jiang Chen's name had resounded throughout the central continent, but not many people knew what he had done. His true secrets were not something that outsiders could know. Currently, only the Martial Pellet Hall had begun to make a big move against Jiang Chen. They wanted to make it difficult for him to move in the divine world. The Martial Pellet Hall did indeed have the strength to do so. St. Martial City. In the main hall, Monarch Tianqi stood with his hands behind his back as he looked at the majestic and domineering painting of a galloping horse. His face was incomparably solemn as he closed his eyes. Behind him, there were actually 2 Emperor Relmoras. One of them was extremely short and skinny. He looked weak, as though a gust of wind could blow him over. The other was an old woman with a walking stick. Her eyes were slightly squinted and she had a smile on her face. She looked extremely benevolent and kind. However, it was these two unassuming people who were peerless experts who were on the same level as Emperor Tianqi. Their emperor auras were unstoppable. The two of you, I was forced to ask the two of you for help this time. Consider it as me owing the two of you a favor. Monarch Tianqi said in a low voice. His voice was extremely suppressed. After all, as an emperor realm expert, it would be an extremely shameful matter for him to ask for help. A favor from an emperor realm expert wasn't something that could be easily returned. Ao. I never thought that there would be someone that our monarch Tianqi couldn't take down. How rare, how rare. Ao. The short man said with a weird smile as he rolled his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. Monarch Tianqi frowned his brows and said faintly, "If Brother Chu is here to ridicule me, then I, Tianqi, have misjudged you. He. It's not like you don't know that that fella is just being straightforward. The supreme elders of the mighty martial pill hall are definitely on the same side. Brother Tianqi, since the two of us are here, we will definitely help you capture that bastard." Cough, cough. The sickly old woman said with a smile. As the antique figures of the martial pill hall, the three of them were influential figures even in the central region Divine Land. The three of them only had one goal: to kill Jiang Chen and reclaim the glory of the martial pill hall. That's right. Tianqi, you can't be so petty, right? Ao. You can't even take this kind of joke. Can't you just have fun? Chu Junqing said with a smirk. He patted Monarch Tianqi's shoulder and looked into the distance, as if he didn't put a brat like Jiang Chen in his eyes. That's for the best. Chapter 37-34. 3 years passed by in the blink of an eye. Jiang Chen slept in the wilderness and ate in the wind without stopping for even a moment. Finally, he arrived at the Nantung Divine region. Thousands of miles of green bamboos were everywhere. Thousands of miles of mountains were everywhere. The Nantung Divine region was covered in smoke. Even Jiang Chen did not expect that he would enter such a land. He thought that this place was peaceful and full of spiritual energy. It must be a place full of treasures. However, he did not expect that it would be a place filled with war for 3 months. Wherever Jiang Chen went, there were cries of disaster everywhere. Whether it was powerful cultivators or weak ordinary people, they all suffered heavy casualties and lost their homes. That tragic scene, why did it look like the last piece of pure land in the legends? Could it be that the last pure land was like this? Jiang Chen sighed and felt pity in his heart. Not everyone knew about the sufferings of the human world. The Nantung Divine region was in an abyss of suffering. The flames of war were everywhere. The gods of death were everywhere. Countless lives were lost and countless souls were lost. There was no place for them to stay. Brat, this is not a place you should come to. Get lost. What a big crystal coffin. He, the person inside is so beautiful. I was just worried about not having a place to relieve my boredom. Brat, hurry up and hand over that crystal coffin to me. Ha, you don't even let the dead go. You're too abnormal. Everyone roared with laughter, shaking their heads. Their faces were filled with satisfaction, their hearts were filled with joy, and their bellies were filled with anger. There were more than a few hundred of them. The weakest among them was a heavenly god while the strongest among them was a hierarch. Before this, they had just slaughtered a small city by the border. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed. Not even a chicken or a dog was spared. Jiang Chen frowned. He was not a self-righteous person, but he was extremely angry when he saw these people wantonly slaughtering. Those 100,000 people, regardless of their age, status, all became souls under the butcher's knife. There was no mercy or kindness in their eyes. They killed them as easily as slaughtering chickens and sheep. However, they did not know that those were 100,000 lives. However, the one that Jiang Chen hated the most was Fa Tiancheng. He dared to make fun of his lover. This fellow will definitely suffer for eternity. How dare you speak such filthy words? Today all of you must die. As for you, you will suffer for eternity. I will not let you fall into the cycle of reincarnation. Jiang Chen's eyes were as cold as a torch. He had concealed his aura, but he did not expect these people to look down on him like this. They were simply a bunch of arrogant people. Ha. He said that he will kill all of us? This is hilarious. Ha ha! Fa Tiancheng and the others laughed hysterically. Their faces became extremely ferocious and terrifying. Within a few million li radius, no one dares to go against me. Who do you think you are? I am a late hierarch realm expert. I can even fight against a divine emperor realm expert. The number of people I have killed is probably more than the number of grains you have eaten and the number of bridges you have crossed. If it wasn't for the fact that you are holding a crystal coffin and the woman in it is so adorable, I would have killed you long ago. Fa Tiancheng laughed ferociously. His killing intent was like a rainbow as he pointed at Jiang Chen. He really wanted to cut Jiang Chen into 1,000 pieces. That's right. Where did this bastard come from? You don't know what's good for you. Hurry up and kneel down in front of Grandpa Fa and beg for mercy. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. You don't know what's good for you. Grandpa Fa is the 9th son of our school of legalism. His identity is respected. Even some divine emperor realm experts have to respect Grandpa Fa. Brat, hurry up and kneel down in front of Grandpa Fa. Maybe I can leave you with a whole corpse. Ha! This brat is so stupid. He looks like an idiot. Grandpa Fa, let's just end him. That lady, he. The group of people around Fa Tiancheng smiled apologetically and flattered him. Fa Tiancheng looked like he was enjoying it. He said coldly, since you don't know right from wrong, don't blame me for being merciless. As the successor of legalism, I have to teach you a lesson. Jiang Chen's expression was cold. He did not expect these people to be so confident. However, he did not want to waste time with them. No matter who they were, he would just kill them. Such a cruel and heartless person would definitely not be a good person. It was just a matter of convenience to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. Shut up, Jiang Chen said coldly. Fa Tiancheng waved his hand and said, Go. Let's show them who's the real overlord. With Fa Tiancheng's shout, everyone swarmed forward. As they charged forward, a murderous aura filled the sky. Jiang Chen's expression was cold. He struck out a seal. The true dragon palm roared crazily. The shadow of the dragon flickered and killed hundreds of experts in an instant. Of course, those so-called experts were just useless chickens and dogs in Jiang Chen's eyes. They were not worth mentioning at all. At this moment, Fa Tiancheng was surrounded by blood. All of them were dead. In an instant, a chilling aura filled Fa Tiancheng's body. Fa Tiancheng's face turned pale and he couldn't help but shiver. He subconsciously took a few steps back and stared at Jiang Chen. Who are you? I'm warning you. Don't come over. I'm the successor of the School of Legalism. If you dare to touch me, the School of Legalism will chase you to the ends of the earth. Fa Tiancheng said fiercely. His brothers and subordinates were all killed by Jiang Chen's palm. Wasn't this too real? You don't deserve to know who I am. Jiang Chen shook his head and said coldly while looking at Fa Tiancheng. Tell me your name if you have the guts. What kind of hero are you to hide in the battle of our School of Legalism? Fa Tiancheng said while clenching his teeth. Trying to provoke Jiang Chen at this moment was like taking him for a fool. However, even so, Jiang Chen did not care at all. It was a piece of cake for him to slaughter a sect now. To be able to raise such a stubborn and deranged person like you, your clan shouldn't be anything good either. Jiang Chen said coldly. How dare you humiliate my School of Legalism? I will not rest until you die. Fa Tiancheng took a step forward, wanting to compete with Jiang Chen. However, in the next moment, Jiang Chen's heart moved. His aura was like a rainbow in the sky, completely crushing Fa Tiancheng's knees, causing him to kneel down. Ah! No! Fa Tiancheng screamed in pain. His face was pale and bloodless. Everything below his knees had been crippled. 5 bolts of lightning descended from the sky, suppressing Fa Tiancheng. The destructive aura made Fa Tiancheng feel despair. You're Jiang Chen. Chapter 37-35. Don't worry about not having a confidant on the road ahead. Who doesn't know you? At this moment, Jiang Chen was as dazzling as the sun in the sky. Not to mention the entire Central State Divine Land, even the Nantung Divine Land, the Northern Coal Divine Land, the West Pole Divine Land, and the Dongxing Divine Land knew Jiang Chen's name. He defeated the Mountain and Sea sect and kicked the Baji sect. He didn't even put the Marshal Dan Hall in his eyes. Who could stop him? Even Fa Tiancheng was warned not to provoke Jiang Chen when he went out in the future. Only God knew where he was. Who else could it be other than Jiang Chen who held the 5 heavenly lightning? It was his symbol and his invincibility. Fa Tiancheng knelt on the ground with a pale face and trembling body. He didn't know what to do. Jiang Chen, how did I provoke this guy? Fa Tiancheng regretted it so much. How could there be such a coincidence in this world? Before leaving, he was warned by his father that Jiang Chen didn't even care about the Marshal Dan Hall. Who in the Nantung divine land dared to be his enemy? Although they all swore, no one was willing to provoke the god of plague, Jiang Chen. Once Jiang Chen got involved, it would be a fight to the death. Fa Tiancheng, as the 9th son of the legalism school, was considered a strong candidate for the inheritance. However, an existence like Jiang Chen was beyond his reach. Jiang Chen's strength was similar to the head of the legalism school. He was in the half-step emperor realm. Fa Tiancheng knew that he didn't have the slightest ability to fight back. Even if his father was here, he might not be able to protect him. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Right now, Jiang Chen was like an unparalleled divine lord. Fa Tiancheng didn't dare to provoke him at all. His legs were completely suppressed by Jiang Chen's power. Everything below his knees was crushed and blood was dripping. Senior Jiang Chen, I know I was wrong. I beg you to spare my worthless life. I'll kowtow to you. Bang, bang, bang. Fa Tian kowtowed to Jiang Chen with all his might. His forehead was bleeding profusely and his eyes were filled with despair and pain. How sorrowful it was to have both of his legs crippled. Even as he gasped for breath, he could feel the intense pain all over his body. Cold sweat dripped down his back as he trembled. After learning of Jiang Chen's identity, he didn't even have to do anything. Just the divine might of Jiang Chen alone was enough to suppress him to the point where he didn't even have the slightest strength to retaliate. Jiang Chen's expression was cold. He had no concept of Fa Tiancheng at all. He was just like an ant. However, Fa Tiancheng had insulted his wife, Xiao Yu. Therefore, he couldn't continue to live in this world. When you killed those innocent people, did you ever think about it? Who will spare their lives? You crushed them to pieces, and when not even their bones remained, who would pity them? What did they do wrong? An entire city of people were slaughtered by you? Why? Jiang Chen's voice was extremely loud. Fa Tiancheng said with a trembling voice, because they were from the Taoist faction. They believed in the Taoist faction, which meant that they were enemies with the legalism faction. So, I slaughtered them all. Fa Tiancheng knew that he had no chance of escaping. He could only hope that Jiang Chen would spare his worthless life. It seems like it's a battle between the legalism faction and the Taoist faction. In that case, you're fighting for the righteousness of your faction. Isn't that understandable? Jiang Chen said coldly. Yes. I'm fighting for the righteousness of my faction. Even if I had to kill them, why not? If I didn't kill them, they would have killed me sooner or later. If I went around them, who would go around me? Facing the enemy, I had no other choice. So, I could only kill them. The Taoist faction is not good. The legalism faction is the orthodox faction of the world. Fa Tiancheng seemed like he had been injected with chicken blood, as if he had grasped the reason why Jiang Chen killed them. He was full of confidence. If Jiang Chen was in Fa Tiancheng's shoes, he wouldn't find anything wrong with killing them. There was no right or wrong when it came to the righteousness of the clan. Whoever was stronger would be able to survive. It sounds like it's true. Who are the sages of the Taoist faction? It seems to be Laozi and Zhuang Zhouzi, right? Jiang Chen said. Yes. It's Zhuang Zhouzi, that bastard. He calls himself Nanhua the Enlightened. It is said that he is the most deceptive person in the Taoist faction. He is a real bastard. Even though he has been dead for thousands of years, his descendants are still like a centipede. They are always disgusting you like flies. Fa Tiancheng said excitedly. He was full of contempt for the people of the Taoist faction. He was also full of disdain for Nanhua the Enlightened. Jiang Chen sneered and looked at Fa Tiancheng. Nanhua the Enlightened had given him a new lease of life. Nanhua the Enlightened had given him the Tao accumulation fruit. Jiang Chen admired and respected Nanhua the Enlightened. It seems that the legalism faction has a lot of enemies. Jiang Chen said Leng. Exactly. The Nantung Divine Region is the holy land of the 100 schools of thought. However, the legalism faction is the orthodox faction. The rest of the Taoist faction, Mahists, and Confucians are all bullshit. We should abolish the 100 schools of thought and respect the spiritual skills alone. That is what the world should do. Ha ha ha. In the world, only the legalism faction is invincible. Senior Jiang Chen, as long as you join the legalism faction, I will definitely make you the supreme elder. At that time, if we work together with Senior Jiang Chen, not to mention the Nantung Divine Region, we might even be able to go to the Central Continent Divine Land. Although the Martial Pellet Hall is very strong, our legalism faction is not easy to deal with. It's just that we are in the Nantung Divine Region. If the Martial Pellet Hall wants to go against us, it won't be that easy. Fa Tiancheng patted his chest and said, now that the 100 schools of thought are at war, our legalism faction will naturally stand firm and fight against the other major clans. Our biggest enemies are the Taoist faction, Confucians, military faction, Mahists, and school of vertical and horizontal. As long as we destroy these clans, our legalism faction will definitely be the #1 clan in the Nantung Divine Region. Fa Tiancheng swore and said solemnly, looks like the Nantung Divine Region is at war with the 100 schools of thought. This should be the real reason why the people are in misery. Jiang Chen could not help but sigh. He could not help but shake his head and sigh. However, the Nantung Divine Region's factions were very complicated. Now that the 100 schools of thought were at war, it was truly a tragedy. In order to prevent this calamity, Senior Jiang Chen, as long as you join our legalism faction, you will have great achievements in the vast world. Fa Tiancheng's words seemed to make him feel that Jiang Chen had already sunk into deep thought. After saying so much, you still have to die. In order to prevent this calamity, I'll kill all the arrogant and conceited members of your school of legalism. As for you, you can wait for them on the road to the Yellow Springs. Chapter 37-36. You. Why do you still want to kill me, Puff? Fa Tiancheng's face turned pale and blood gushed out from his mouth. He looked terrible and had lost his fighting strength. At this moment, he did not expect that everything he said would be in vain. Jiang Chen still wanted to kill him. Don't worry. You won't die. I will make sure that your soul will never be reincarnated. I will let you suffer for 10,000 years and free those innocent people that you killed. However, I could have spared your life. It's a pity that you insulted my wife. Therefore, a beast like you doesn't even have the right to reincarnate. Jiang Chen said calmly and stared at Fa Tiancheng. No. No, please don't. Senior Jiang Chen, as long as you let me go, I, the legalism school, will promise you anything. Please let me go. Jiang Chen frowned. As soon as the great Yu soul-forming light appeared, Fa Tiancheng's soul was forcefully removed from his body. That kind of pain was even more terrifying than being torn apart by 5 horses. It was terrifying. Jiang Chen didn't show any mercy to Fa Tiancheng, who didn't know what was good for him. Letting him suffer for 10,000 years was already a great mercy to him. No one knew how many innocent people had died in his hands. This executioner should have died a graveless death a long time ago. Taking care of Fa Tiancheng was just something that Jiang Chen did in passing. Fa Tiancheng's death was his own fault. However, Jiang Chen did not expect the Nantung Divine Region to be in such a mess. Hundreds of sects contending against each other was the cause of this bloody storm. The Nantung Divine Region was originally known as the last pure land in the divine world. However, it seemed that it was not true. Hearsay was not as good as seeing it with one's own eyes. If one did not see it with his own eyes, he would not understand how ironic it was. Jiang Chen was filled with doubts as to whether the purple bamboo forest at the peak of the South Sea was the last pure land. However, that was the territory of the Buddhist sect. Although the Buddhist sect was not considered powerful in the Nantung Divine Region, Bodhisattva had incomparable majesty. He was an existence second only to the Gautama Buddha. Whether it was in the Buddhist sect or the Nantung Divine Region, he should be extremely terrifying. Now that he had just entered the Nantung Divine Region, he had already encountered such an incident. For Jiang Chen, this trip to the Nantung Divine Region might not be smooth sailing. Along the way, Jiang Chen flew for tens of thousands of miles and finally saw a big city. However, the most powerful expert in this ancient city was only at the Divine Emperor realm. As Jiang Chen carried the crystal coffin, the people around him kept their distance and whispered among themselves. What bad luck. Let's go, let's go. Sigh. It's probably another pitiful infatuated man. Jiang Chen rested in the inn and asked about the South Sea Summit, but the waiter's expression changed when he heard it. In addition, Jiang Chen was carrying the crystal coffin on his shoulder. Many guests shook their heads, sighed, and turned to leave. Here are 100 high-grade divine origin stones. Jiang Chen's expression was calm as he placed the divine origin stones on the table. The waiter trembled, but his eyes were filled with excitement. He had never seen so many high-grade divine origin stones in his life. Money makes the world go round. The waiter's expression became extremely solemn when he saw the divine origin stone in Jiang Chen's hand. He lowered his voice and said, "Sir, to tell you the truth, the South Sea Summit is no longer the South Sea Summit of the past. Countless years ago, the South Sea Summit was the holy land of the Buddhist sect. Countless people worshipped and admired Avalokitesvara. In the Nantung divine region, it even surpassed the admiration and reverence for Buddha. But for some reason, Avalokitesvara disappeared. No one knew where he went, and no one knew if Avalokitesvara would come back. Some people said that Avalokitesvara was dead, but many people firmly believed that Avalokitesvara was just meditating and not really dead. But that was something that happened tens of thousands of years ago. The current summit of the Southern Sea could be considered the last pure land of the Nantung divine region. Because no one could enter it, the 100 schools of thought contended, causing the entire Nantung divine region to be in a precarious situation. So, the South Sea Summit is no longer as glorious as before. The waiter's expression was cautious as if he was unwilling to say more. But after all, Jiang Chen gave him 100 high-grade divine origin stones. That was his salary for 100 years. According to reliable sources, in the past 10,000 years, no one who entered the South Sea Summit could leave there alive. So, the South Sea Summit became the Sea of Death. Countless people kept it a secret, and no one dared to go there to worship. The so-called Avalokitesvara was no longer the same as before. This kind of thing has become a taboo in the entire Nantung divine region. So no one is willing to say more, fearing that they might get into trouble. Facing the waiter's cautious words, Jiang Chen nodded slightly. But he was even more doubtful in his heart. Back then, it was said that it was the last pure land of the divine realm, and then it was said that those who entered the South Sea Summit could not enter it anymore. Now it was said that the South Sea Summit had become the Sea of Death, and no one dared to go there anymore. The original divine realm had become a place where everyone kept quiet out of fear. How could people not be doubtful and sigh? "Tell me, how far is the South Sea Summit from here?" Jiang Chen said. He knew that it was impossible to get too much useful information from this waiter. After all, the waiter's strength was undeniable. Jiang Chen only needed to find the location of the summit of the Southern Ocean, because the person he was looking for was Tyrant, a man from the purple bamboo forest. In order to save little Yu, Jiang Chen had to make this trip. Even if he knew that he had to face a mountain of daggers and a sea of flames, he would never back down. Continue to the south. About 2 million miles southwest is the South Sea Summit. As the name suggests, it is at the southernmost part of the South Sea. It is in existence like a celestial island, and the incomparably huge purple bamboo forest is the symbol of that place. According to the legends, the South Sea Summit is the place with the densest spiritual qi in the entire divine realm. Countless people want to go there to seek a breakthrough. But in the past 10,000 years, no one dared to go there. If young master really wants to go there, remember to be careful. The waiter warned again and again. Jiang Chen waved his hand, and the waiter happily took the high-grade divine origin stone in his hand. 100 years' worth of wages was obtained in an instant. Even Jiang Chen was envious of this kind of joy. A waiter like that was also the peak of his life. Everyone had their own happiness, but the current Jiang Chen could not bring himself to be happy at all. The crystal coffin beside him had scared off many people. Even the waiter from before was filled with fear and respect for him. Could it be that the Pure Land no longer exists? Chapter 37:37. Jiang Chen was incomparably anxious, but he knew that this wasn't something that could be done overnight. Putting aside the current situation of the summit of the Southern Ocean, he had to go and have a look at it first no matter what. Thousands of miles away, the wind and clouds surged. Jiang Chen was extremely anxious. Looking at Xiao Yu in the crystal coffin every day was his greatest motivation. On the peak of a low mountain range, Jiang Chen looked towards the south. 2 million miles away was already one step closer to the peak of the southern sea. Every time he passed by a region, Jiang Chen could see those people who had been fighting for years. The flames of war were undying, hundreds of schools of thought contended, and the battles were endless. It was not an exaggeration to say that the flames of war had spread throughout the entire Nantung Divine region. 2 million miles away, Jiang Chen had encountered more than 10 battles. However, he wasn't a savior, nor was he a teacher of justice. He had no obligation to save the people of the world. Therefore, Jiang Chen didn't meddle in other people's business. Even if there were people wailing everywhere, he didn't care about it. There was nothing in the world, and people were just worrying about it. If he insisted on taking action, it would only break the balance and cause the entire Nantung Divine region to fall into an even more chaotic situation. Death was like the extinguishing of a lamp. Some rose while others fell. It was the cycle of nature. Jiang Chen couldn't change everyone's fate. At this moment, he was just like a bystander, flying across the sky of the Nantung Divine region. However, when Jiang Chen was passing by a green bamboo forest, an earth-shattering battle attracted his attention. It was not a battle between divine kings and hierarchs. There were more than a dozen divine emperors fighting against each other. Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. Most importantly, the 100,000 miles ahead was completely sealed off by the flames of war. Even if Jiang Chen wanted to go there, he would have to take a detour. You want to step into my territory with just the likes of you? You're overestimating yourselves. Get out of here right now, and I can pretend that you've never been here. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you here. A woman holding a pair of green serpent scissors said with a cold smile. She had bright eyes and white teeth, and her golden hair fluttered in the wind. His cold, gem-like purple eyes were like a sharp sword that could pierce through a person's heart. The 7-meter-long azure dragon scissors in his hand shone with a cold light. Behind the woman, there were 300 divine generals, mighty and domineering, standing upright. The weakest among them were middle hierarch realm experts, and there were even divine emperor realm experts. There were no less than 50 of them. Such a force was considered quite strong in the entire Nantung Divine region. We are from the Mo family. If you insist on stopping us, don't blame us for being impolite. An old man with a gloomy aura said in a deep voice. As the head of a branch of the Mo family, he had been expelled back then. Now, he wanted to bring his clansmen back to their homeland. Mo family? Ha ha ha. Does the Mo family have someone like you? Do you recognize Mo Xian and Mo Yunfu from the Mo clan? This is the first time I've seen an old fart like you. If you're really from the Mo family, how could you not recognize me? The woman sneered, completely looking down on the people in front of her. 18 divine emperor realm experts were not a weak force, but they did not have the qualifications to be arrogant in front of her. Because this was a place that the military school had to fight for. The pass was narrow and dangerous, and no one could pass through here. Otherwise, it would be the greatest humiliation for the military school. For millions of years, no one had dared to behave atrociously in front of the militarists, let alone these impostors. As a genius of the militarists, Yang Yunlang was a 1-in-a-million heroine. She was famous in the Nantung Divine region, and no one had ever been able to oppose her. They wanted to pass through here, but they did not know her name? How could this be possible? Therefore there was only one reason. These people were impostors. Not to mention that they were impostors, even if they were real, it was impossible for them to pass through the military school's place. Military school. Military school. The leading old man murmured. His heart was filled with bitterness as he recalled the past. The Mo family and the military school had always been enemies. The battle between the Mo family and the military school had never stopped. He never thought that he would come to the military school's place this time. This old man is Thousand City of Black Jade. I'm indeed from the Mo family, but I haven't been back to the Nantung Divine region for many years, so I don't know the experts of the military school. Please forgive me. Otherwise, if you guys really want to fight to the death and become the enemy of the Mo family, you might not be able to make the decision. Thousand City of Black Jade said in a deep voice, neither servile nor overbearing. His expression was stern. Facing the people of the military school, Thousand City of Black Jade knew that it was almost impossible for him to force his way through. Therefore, he could only use his emotions to persuade her. He hoped that this little girl could consider the overall situation. Although the Mo family and the military school had always been at loggerheads with each other, It would not be easy for them to fight against each other as they were the true overlords of the 100 schools. At most, it would be a battle between clansmen below the divine emperor realm. I remember now. You're the one who was expelled from the Mo family 100,000 years ago? Thousand City of Black Jade. You used to be a genius disciple. Ha! Unfortunately, you humiliated your sister-in-law and were expelled by the Mo family. What a pity. Men, hee. Yang Yunlang laughed coldly. He looked at Thousand City of Black Jade with disdain. When he said those words, all the people of the military school roared with laughter. They were full of mockery and ridicule towards the people of the Mo family. As for the people behind Thousand City of Black Jade, their faces were filled with astonishment and anger. Thousand City of Black Jade's face was dark to the extreme. After all these years, he had always carried this kind of reputation with him. That was why he had been expelled by the Mo family. If it weren't for his sister-in-law trying to help her husband ascend to the position of genius in the Mo family, he wouldn't have been framed. Carrying such a deep hatred, Thousand City of Black Jade had to leave his home. He had agreed to return to the Black Lands in 100,000 years, to prove his name, to show the Mo family who was truly an exceptional genius. Thousand City of Black Jade's heart was filled with unspeakable bitterness. For 100,000 years, he had endured the pain in his heart. Now that he had brought his descendants back to the Black Lands, he was filled with absolute confidence. However, he had never imagined that good things would never go out the door, while bad things would travel 1,000 li. Even after 100,000 years, Yang Yunlang still knew the reason why Thousand City of Black Jade had left the Mo family. How could Thousand City of Black Jade feel good about being accused of such a shameful matter? Don't slander me, said Yang Yunlang coldly. I, Thousand City of Black Jade, have always been righteous. I've returned to the Mo family to prove my name. I, Thousand City of Black Jade, am definitely not the type to be a thief. Chapter 37-38. However, in the eyes of Yang Yunlang and the other military experts, Thousand Black Jade City was just trying to flatter himself. Back then, when you were expelled from the clan, you were quite awe-inspiring. Haha, sinister, cunning, licentious and tyrannical. How could the Mo clan tolerate you? Although we are enemies, it's definitely a good thing to kick a black sheep like you out of the Mo family. Now that you dare to return to the Mo family, it seems like you really don't see yourself as an outsider anymore. Ha! Even if I let you go, do you think you can enter the Mo family's gate? How dare you bully your sister-in-law? You're a scum. You deserve to be infamous for thousands of years. Infamous for thousands of years. Thousands of years. An earth-shattering roar resounded through the clouds. Yang Yunlang had almost completely entered the heart of the Thousand Black Jade City, causing the people of the Thousand Black Jade City and the Mo clan to be completely enraged. Even after 100,000 years, the Thousand Black Jade City still couldn't let go of the hatred in his heart. He was wrongly accused. He had to seek justice for himself. Originally, Thousand Black Jade City did not intend to have a conflict with the people of the military family. After all, he had not returned to the Nantung Divine region for 100,000 years. He didn't know what the current situation was like. On one hand, he did not want to make enemies for the Mo family. However, this little girl from the military family was so aggressive which made Thousand Black Jade City furious. He could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. Grandpa, let's fight with them. We can't let these people from the military family look down on us. Since they dare to humiliate you, we'll make them pay with their blood. Moling Dongchen took a step forward with a dignified appearance. He looked at Yang Yunlang. Her black hair was fluttering in the wind. Her gray robe was like a splash ink landscape painting. She had a different charm and elegance. Although she was a woman, Moling Dongchen was the most powerful expert in the entire Mo family. She wanted to bring her grandfather back to the Mo family and let the Mo family know who was the one who made the mistake that year. Interesting. Since you want to fight, I, Yang Yunlang, will accompany you to the end. Behaving atrociously in the territory of my military school, the exiled members of your Mo family are truly becoming more and more despicable. There's nothing you can do. Ha! Yang Yunlang's tone was filled with ridicule. He was filled with contempt towards the entire Mo family. At this moment, both parties were already at each other's throats. The arrow was knocked on the bowstring, it had to be released. Moling Dongchen was not the kind of person who was willing to be led by the nose by others. Now that he had become more powerful, it was not impossible for him to go against the military school. Moreover, they were the elites of the family. Even if they were to fight, they might not be at a disadvantage. Having endured the humiliation of the previous generation's ancestors, every member of the Mahists had the attitude of facing death with equanimity. Facing the militarists, their battle intent surged and their arrogance soared. Bitch. Today I, Moling Dongchen, will make you pay for your words and actions. Moling Dongchen was holding a long sword in her hand. Her silhouette shone brightly as she jumped up from the ground. Her slender figure was like a fairy. In a blink of an eye, she slashed towards Yang Yunlang. Come on! Yang Yunlang shouted. With the green serpent scissors, she had dominated the world for countless years. As a genius of the military school, she was definitely not weaker than Moling Dongchen. Both of them were at the late Divine Emperor realm. Moreover, both of them were geniuses that only appeared once in 10,000 years. The battle between Moling Dongchen and Yang Yunlang had attracted everyone's attention. Why are you still standing there? Kill them! The people of the military school roared and rushed towards the remaining people of the Mo family. This battle was not only a battle between them. Thousand Black Jade City roared in anger. As the ancestor of the Mo family, he was duty-bound. This time, he returned to the Nantung Divine region because he wanted to clear his name. Now, before he even reached the Mo family, he had already been humiliated by the people of the military school. How could the people of the Mo family remain calm? The green serpent scissors swept across the universe. As a rare genius disciple of the military school, Yang Yunlang was also extremely talented. When she fought with Moling Dongchen, both of them had exerted their full strength. They fought from the sky to the ground. On the mountain peak, among the green water, it was all their battlefields. The mightiness of the two women was incomparable. That kind of decisive and murderous aura was not inferior to the men. Dongchen, be careful. Thousand Black Jade City reminded Moling Dongchen. His granddaughter was even more outstanding than him. These years, as a genius of the Mo family, she had continuously risen and surpassed everyone. She had become the most powerful person in the Mo family. Moling Dongchen nodded slightly. She advanced and retreated in an orderly manner. Her battle with Yang Yunlang showed her unique domineering aura. Yang Yunlang was also not an easy opponent. She rose from the ranks and was one of the most powerful experts in the military school. She guarded the land that the military school had to fight for. She led countless disciples of the military school. Her demeanor as a female general made people sigh in admiration. The battle between Moling Dongchen and Yang Yunlang was like a needle against an awl. Neither of them dared to slack off for even a moment. If they were careless, the other party might take advantage of them. Although there were not many disciples of the Mo family, they were all elites. There were 5 late Divine Emperor experts in the minor connecting heavens realm. The rest of them were also the elite disciples of the Mo family. They were not afraid of the battle at all. The military school won because they had more people. In addition to Yang Yunlang's domineering aura, the situation was irreversible when they fought with the Mo family. Rays of light filled the sky. Sword shadows and saber lights. The clanging sound lasted for a long time. Battle cries pierced through the sky. Dozens of Divine Emperor experts fought with each other in this battle. It was imaginable how tragic it was. The flames of war were continuous. The mountains were covered and the dark clouds were shrouded. Ink attack technique. Profound heaven's 9 rotations. Moling Dongchen's sword shadow trembled. It was invisible and fell down. Yang Yunlang twisted the green serpent scissors and his aura did not decrease. Serpent move. Rays of cold light approached each other. The two of them got closer to each other again. Divine weapons intertwined with each other continuously. Both of them were repulsed. Moling Dongchen and Yang Yunlang did not slow down at all. The impact of the two of them had become a beautiful scenery. At this moment, it seems like the Mo family has really mobilized a lot of people. Jiang Chen looked at the horrifying battle. No one was spared from the disaster. Mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. Ancient trees were burnt. The sky collapsed and the earth sunk. It was a tragic scene. A battle between divine monarchs was unavoidable. It was a battle between divine monarchs. Moling Dongchen's current strength was quite powerful. He was a late Divine Emperor expert in the Great Connecting Heavens realm. He was as powerful as the Mo family's branch master. Black Jade Thousand City. It seemed like Moling Dongchen had suffered a lot these years. Chapter 37-39. However, Moling Dongchen was too powerful. Yang Yunlang gradually felt that it was strenuous. Although they had the absolute advantage in numbers, it could not make up for the weakness of their low strength. Under the leadership of Thousand Black Jade City, the experts of Mo family had taken the initiative. They had already beaten the people of the military school to the point that they were scared witless. Yang Yunlang's complexion was ashen. Right now, she was the only one who could stabilize the situation. The rest of the people were already being beaten passively. It wouldn't be long before all the people from the military school were annihilated. Then, it would be difficult for Yang Yunlang to escape death. When the Thousand City of Black Jade was free, her situation would be even more dangerous. Yang Yunlang did not expect that the people of Mo clan would be this decisive and powerful. In less than half an hour, they were already in a mess. Yang Tianfeng, change the formation. Yang Yunlang roared angrily. Military school was famous for the dangers of the military gate. Their formations were even more uncanny workmanship. Therefore they were quite powerful. Their advantage was that they had a lot of people and their formations were strange and ever-changing. After Yang Yunlang informed them, Yang Tianfeng led everyone and began to change the formation. One had to admit that the formation of the military school was terrifying. After the formation was changed, it became very difficult for the Thousand Black Jade City and the others to deal with the people of the military school. At least, they had stabilized the situation after the formation was completed. They were not powerless in front of the experts of the Mo clan. The military school's formation was divided into 8 directions and covered the people of the Mo clan. At this moment, even the Hierarch Realm experts could make full use of their strength in the formation. 5-direction Heavenly Gates formation. Yang Tianfeng was in charge of the 5-direction Heavenly Gates formation as the formation eye, while Aozhan was in charge of the Thousand Black Jade City. For a moment, both sides were in a stalemate. Moreover, the military school had taken the absolute initiative. They swept away the previous gloominess and disappointment and instantly became the master. The change of the formation was out of the Mo family's expectation. Even Moling Dongchen was very nervous. If this continued, the Mo family would definitely be defeated soon. Humph. You're still too inexperienced to fight with me. How dare you behave atrociously in front of the military school? This is a place where you can't come and go as you please. Yang Yunlang was full of vigor as she sneered. Her green serpent scissors kept on cutting. Cold light wreaked havoc in the surroundings. She was invincible. The morale of the Bai family was high. This allowed her to regain her confidence. She was not completely inferior to Moling Dongchen. What a strange formation. If he was here, he might be able to break this formation with a single hand. Moling Dongchen murmured and gritted her teeth. Now, she could only hope that her grandfather could lead the people of the Mo family to break the formation as soon as possible. Otherwise, once they were suppressed by the 5 directions Heavenly Gates formation, they would be exhausted to death. The consumption of energy in the formation was not proportional to that of the Mo family. The Thousand City of Ink Jade moved closer and closer with an ugly expression on its face. It kept losing ground to Yang Tianfeng, and its anxiety was evident on its face. It seems like the Mo family is really tenacious. Zhang Chen's eyes moved as he looked indifferently. Currently, he was shrouded in a cloud of mist. It was not easy for others to see him. After all, he was carrying the crystal coffin on his shoulder. No matter where he went, he would be the center of attention. Therefore, Zhang Chen had to hide his strength and cover himself. But now, he wanted to pass through this narrow and dangerous place. He could only go through this place. Since he met Zhang Chen on the road, he had no choice but to lend a helping hand. Moling Dongchen had left without saying goodbye to Zhang Chen, and he seemed to have some resentment towards Zhang Chen. This time, the reason why Zhang Chen did not reveal his real body was also because of Moling Dongchen. He did not want her to be filled with resentment towards him. However, at this moment, if Zhang Chen did not help them, the 5 directions Heavenly Gates formation would force the Thousand City of Ink Jade and the others into a desperate situation. Zhang Chen looked indifferent. When he took action, he pointed his finger lightly. In an instant, the 5 directions Heavenly Gates formation was broken. Yang Tianfeng and the others were dumbfounded. No one had expected that the 5 directions Heavenly Gates formation would be so fragile, especially Yang Yunlang. The Five Directions Heavenly Gates formation that she was so proud of was broken by someone. Moreover, she did not even know who it was. What a terrifying fingerprint. The Thousand City of Ink Jade took a deep breath and looked extremely solemn. If it wasn't for this finger, the Mo family would probably be in deep trouble. This fingerprint seemed ordinary, but it had saved the entire Mo family. Moling Dongchen looked up and squinted her eyes. Her heart could not help but beat faster. Is it him? Is it really him? Moling Dongchen's heart was full of doubts. However, she knew that Jiang Chen had already become famous in the land of 9 regions. He was unparalleled in the world. Even in the central region, no one could do anything to him. How could he appear here? The Nantung divine region was in chaos. Hundreds of sects were contending against each other. It was impossible for Jiang Chen to go deep into this chaotic land. Everything was just her guess. As the Five Directions Heavenly Gates formation was broken, the people of the Mo family were excited. They started to fight back crazily as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The people of the military family could not continue to fight back. They could not resist the domineering aura. The defeat was like a landslide. The people of the military school could not resist the counterattack of the Mo family. It was like an unstoppable torrent. Yang Yunlong's heart sank to the bottom. Yang Tianfeng was defeated by the 1,000 Black Jade City one after another. Yang Yunlang was also struggling to move forward. Under the suppression of Moling Dongchen, the people of the military school were completely defeated. They almost died. Bastard! You barbarians! I won't stop until I kill you! Yang Yunlang roared angrily. Seeing that the people of the military school were starting to lose and the situation was getting worse, she had become crazy. The war was imminent and the wind was blowing everywhere. She could no longer sweep across the land like a general. She was being pushed back by Moling Dongchen. She couldn't escape and she couldn't even protect herself. No one had expected that this would be the result. Yang Yunlang shouted and roared again and again. However, there was nothing he could do. Facing the strong attack of the Mo family, more than 10 people were like a hot knife cutting through butter. The momentum of the military family was already gone. As the Five Directions Heavenly Gates formation was broken, they had completely lost the initiative. I want the military family to die without a burial place. Moling Dongchen was very angry. After all, the 1,000 City of Ink Jade was his grandfather. Yang Yunlang had humiliated him like this. How could the people of the Mo family keep their face? If they did not teach Yang Yunlang a lesson, how could they keep their foothold? The dignity of the Mo family was inviolable. Chapter 3740. We can't hold on any longer, Sister Yunlang. Yang Tianfeng had a bitter smile on his face. Hundreds of Hierarch Realm and dozens of Divine Emperor Realm experts retreated under the huge pressure. The scene was very chaotic. The people from the military school knew that they had lost the upper hand. They were beaten to the point of dizziness. More than 100 Hierarch Realm experts were killed, and more than 10 Divine Emperor Realm experts were killed. The battle had entered a white-hot stage, causing the people from the military school to hang their heads in despair and fear. Retreat! Yang Yunlang clenched her teeth. Blue veins popped out on her face. Yang Yunlang, the female general of the military school, finally admitted her inadequacy at this moment. If they continued to fight, she might not be able to accept the result. 1/3 of the Divine Emperor Realm experts were killed. It was a great loss even for the military school. The Hierarch Realm experts, who were the backbone of the military school, were also in a miserable state. They had lost almost half of their forces. Yang Yunlang could not accept such a situation. However, there was nothing she could do. The situation was very bad. All she could do was sound the gongs to retreat and try to fight again. Right now, in this natural stronghold of the military school, her formation was still broken. The Five Directions Heavenly Gates formation was extremely powerful. Originally, she thought that the natural stronghold would be enough to deal with it, but now it seemed that it was completely one-sided. Although Yang Yunlang was very conceited, she still knew what was more important. If they continued to fight, they might be completely annihilated. After the order to retreat, everyone felt as if they had been pardoned and began to flee with all their might. If Yang Yunlang did not give the order, they would have fled on their own. However, with Yang Yunlang's order, they began to flee on their own. The people of the Mo clan were all elites. Once the five-direction sky gate formation was broken, they no longer had any fear. The people of the military school could forget about holding them back. The Thousand Black Jade City was invincible. Other than Yang Yunlang, there should be no one who could be his opponent. He killed his way in and out of the enemy's formation. It could be said that he was fighting to his heart's content. The people of the military school were defeated like a landslide. Finally they completely fled. Yang Yunlang had suffered a few setbacks in Moling Dongchen's hands. She was complaining in her heart. She had never expected that these traitors of the Mo family would be so overbearing. It seemed that she could only accept her bad luck. The female general of the military no longer had the awe-inspiring aura she once had. She led her defeated army and fled 1,000 miles away. This scene was already unknown to anyone. Don't chase a cornered enemy. Thousand City of Black Jade shouted with a deep voice. Joy appeared on his face. Their Mo family finally felt proud and elated, forcing back all of the military school's people. Not a single person was injured, and instead, they made the other party suffer heavy losses. This was just too delightful. Whether it was the Thousand City of Black Jade or the people of the Mo clan behind him, all of them were full of vigor, without the slightest bit of cowardice. Everyone guarded behind the Thousand City of Black Jade, including Moling Dongchen. It was rare for his grandfather to be in high spirits. After defeating the military school and entering the Mo family, he would definitely be full of confidence. Thank you for your help, Great Master. The Thousand City of Black Jade slightly bowed to Jiang Chen, who was shrouded in the clouds above the void. Although he did not know who was Jiang Chen, if the Great Master did not break the formation with one finger, they would not have won so easily. They might even have been suppressed by the five-direction Heavenly Gates formation. Now that they had turned the situation around and defeated the powerful enemies of the military school, killing countless enemies, the Thousand City of Black Jade was very pleased with this battle. It could be considered as returning to the Mo family. Who wouldn't be happy with this victory? Thank you for your help, Great Master. Moling Dongchen and the others bowed slightly and said loudly. However, Jiang Chen did not say a word. He stepped on the clouds and disappeared from this place without leaving a trace. This Great Master is really eccentric. Ha! Fortunately, we have the protection of the heavens. Otherwise, our Mo family would be in danger. The Thousand City of Black Jade slightly nodded his head. He was full of respect for the Great Master, who did not want to reveal his identity. No matter what, it's worth celebrating to be able to defeat the military school today. Congratulations, Grandpa. Moling Dongchen said. In the blink of an eye, the clouds and mist had already disappeared. Moling Dongchen was very puzzled. He was full of expectations for the mysterious Great Master. Jiang Chen? Could it be you? Moling Dongchen smiled bitterly in his heart. How could it be? If it was him, this guy would definitely show up. We shouldn't stay here for long. Let's go quickly. This place is deep in the military school's territory. Once the military school brings reinforcements and comes back, we will be in danger. If there wasn't a Great Master helping us, we might not be able to win this battle so easily. The Thousand City of Black Jade said in a deep voice. He was extremely worried. On the other hand, he was eager to return home. The Mo family was just 400,000 miles away from them. His heart was already burning with anxiety. The closer he was to his hometown, the more timid he was. He did not dare to ask the Great Master. At this moment, the Thousand City of Black Jade had not returned for 100,000 years. His heart was filled with expectation. He missed the Mo family and his homeland very much. Fallen leaves must return to their roots. Although he had not reached the day where he would die of old age, the longer the Thousand Black Jade City wandered outside, the more he longed for his homeland. Others might not be able to feel it, but his heart was filled with excitement. He had been waiting for this moment for far too long. Grandpa, Moling Dongchen said in a low voice. She held her grandpa's hand tightly. At that moment, she felt very bitter in her heart. Her grandpa had been wronged for 100,000 years. He was forced to confess and was expelled from the Mo family. It was a great destruction to her grandpa's body and mind. Now that he had returned to the Mo family again, one could imagine the bitterness and nervousness in his heart. A group of 18 people. All of them were the descendants of the Thousand City of Black Jade. They were the elites of the Mo family. Although Moling Dongchen had become the head of the family, he was not the true descendant of the Mo family. This time, he returned to the Mo family to clear the injustice and let his descendants return to the family. Let's go. Our home is in front. The Thousand City of Black Jade suppressed the excitement in his heart. He was in high spirits and stood at the front, treading on the sky. After more than a month, when Jiang Chen appeared here, he was almost in front of the Thousand City of Black Jade. Although Jiang Chen's strength was stronger than them, Jiang Chen's speed was slowed down by carrying the crystal coffin. This crystal coffin could not be kept in the storage ring, let alone in the Zulong Tower. Of course, there was something magical about it. If we want to enter the South Sea, we can only walk through the Mo family. If we take a detour, it will be hundreds of thousands of miles or even millions of miles. Chapter 3741. Jiang Chen didn't want to stir up any trouble, and he didn't want to alarm too many people. If he revealed his identity, no one could guarantee that there weren't any people from the Mo family among the people he had offended. He had made countless enemies, and he didn't even know how many he had killed. Although Jiang Chen's name was well known in the divine world, he did not want to cause a bloodbath. They came so fast. Jiang Chen squinted his eyes. Not long after, Moling Dongchen and the others appeared in front of the Mo family. Eternal City. Myriad Ink Attack. The Mo family stands at the peak of the 100 families. The Thousand City of Black Jade looked at the endless city wall in front of him. He was extremely excited and shocked. How many years had it been? How many things had happened in his dreams? Once upon a time, the Thousand City of Black Jade stood here and looked down upon the thousands of disciples of the Mo family. As the most powerful prodigy, the treasure of the Mo family, he was expelled from the Mo family in the end. Now that he had returned, the Thousand City of Black Jade took a deep breath. He was prepared for any changes. Moling Dongchen did not have such a strong emotion like his grandfather. But as someone who was expelled from the Mo family and suffered 100,000 years of injustice, one could imagine the bitterness of it. Mo family, I, the Thousand City of Black Jade, am finally back. He let out a long sigh. No one knew how much bitterness he had felt. The sinner, the Thousand City of Black Jade, has returned after 100,000 years. The Thousand City of Black Jade's voice reverberated across thousands of miles. His appearance had attracted the attention of the Mo clan. Mo City was famous for its ink attack. The Thousand City of Black Jade and the other 18 Divine Emperor Realm experts had arrived. How could the people of the Mo clan not be surprised and puzzled? Thousand City of Black Jade? Who is that? Sigh. Haven't you heard of the peerless prodigy who was expelled from the Mo family 100,000 years ago? It's him. What? The Thousand City of Black Jade is back? Didn't they say that he was expelled from the Mo family? I heard that the Thousand City of Black Jade swore that he will return after 100,000 years. At that time, he will fight Mo Yang Kue again. Didn't he get expelled because he bullied his sister-in-law? How could he have the face to come back now? Humph. Mo Yang Kue is already an elder of our Mo clan. How can we allow him to fight as he pleases? Isn't that so? Now that 100,000 years have passed, things have long remained the same, but the people have long changed. Who knows what exactly happened back then? Some people say that Thousand Black Jade City was wronged, but in the end, it was still a sinner of a generation. Who still believes that it can be rehabilitated? At this moment, the Mo clan was already in a state of apprehension. Countless people were discussing about the Thousand Black Jade City. Some people were filled with disdain, while others were extremely expectant. However, the Thousand Black Jade City was someone who was expelled from the Mo clan. How could they let him return to the clan so easily? Since he was a sinner of the Mo family, he should know what kind of situation he was in. I heard that when Thousand City of Black Jade left the Mo clan, he was only a peak heavenly god expert. Now, he has returned with a group of divine emperor experts. This Thousand Ink Jade City is truly unwilling to die. Since he is already a sinner of the Mo family, he still wants to make a comeback. What's the point? Our Mo clan will never allow a person who disgraces the Mo clan to return and become the shame of our Mo clan. Perhaps he is here for Elder Mo Yang Kue. The conflict between the two of them was spread throughout the entire Mo clan. Especially Mo Gu of the Mo clan. She is a peerless woman whose name shook the entire Nantung divine region. No wonder Mo Yang Kue and Thousand Black Jade City had a falling out. Most of the people of the Mo clan had reservations about the return of Thousand Black Jade City. After all, it had been a long time, and the current Thousand Black Jade City was no longer the same person he was in the past. Wait here, I will go and inform the elders of the Mo clan. A disciple of the Mo clan said loudly on the city wall. Then he turned around and left. Thousand Black Jade City took a deep breath. The Mo clan was already in front of him, but his heart was still restless. In the Mo city, in front of a cave with dense spiritual energy, a disciple of the Mo clan knelt down on one knee and reported in a low voice, reporting to the supervisor, the sinner of the Mo clan, Thousand Black Jade City has returned to the Mo clan, requesting an audience. Within the cave, an incomparably powerful aura suddenly soared into the sky. The stone door shattered, and a black-clothed figure immediately appeared in front of the Mo family disciple. The figure's thin figure, sunken eyes and long narrow eyes gave off an extremely cold and gloomy feeling. Who did you say? Mo, the sinner of the Mo clan, Thousand Black Jade City. The disciple said in fear. The supervisor's aura was too powerful, causing him to hold his breath and almost die from fright. Thousand Black Jade City. You damned fella, how dare you come back? You are the one who humiliated my mother in the past. Now, you still want to return to the Mo clan? Dream on. I, Mo Xian, will make you die without a burial place. Mo Xian said in a deep voice. His face was gloomy, and his blood and qi were tumbling unceasingly. This person was the person he hated the most in his life. His mother was innocent all her life, but she was humiliated by the sinner of the Mo clan, Thousand Black Jade City. It became a shameful history that the entire Mo clan could never forget. Now, this fella actually dared to come back. This time, he must tear that bastard into pieces to vent his hatred. Although his father and mother did not say it, he knew that it was a pain in their lives. Since then, no one in the Mo clan had mentioned it again. However, that bastard Thousand Black Jade City had been firmly engraved in his heart. Even if you didn't come to the Mo clan, I have already wanted to find you. Thousand Black Jade City, I hope you won't disappoint me. Mo Xian sneered. As a genius disciple of the Mo clan, Mo Xian was already standing above the divine emperor realm. Compared to his father, his strength was not inferior. Mo Xian's talent was peerless, 1 in 10,000. He was entrusted with a heavy responsibility, and no one could surpass him. His reputation in the Mo clan was extremely high. He was famous among the younger generation and he was in charge of the 3 armies. The current Mo clan was in a turbulent situation. Thousand Black Jade City actually dared to return to the Mo clan at this time. Then, he must be killed here as a warning to others. The sinner of the Mo clan would never be able to return to the Mo clan. Moreover, he couldn't even get past Mo Xian. Mo Xian's heart was filled with anger. He had waited for this moment for a very long time. It had been 100,000 years. The return of the Thousand Black Jade City would be the day of his death. As the supervisor of the Mo clan city defense, Mo Xian had the authority to command the army. This time, the Thousand Black Jade City would not be able to get past him. Chapter 3742. Although Mo Xian was the most outstanding person in the Mo family, he wasn't the only one. As the son of Mo Xueqi, he had to bear a lot of responsibilities. Although he couldn't be blamed for what happened to his parents in the past, there were still people who spoke ill of him behind his back. This kind of thing was unavoidable. And the main culprit of all this was the Thousand City of Black Jade, an expert who was as talented as his father. He might have to call him uncle. It was because of the Thousand City of Black Jade that his path to becoming a genius became incomplete. He was even criticized by others. This was his only pain. Many people were discussing behind his back. Only Mo Xian's heart was filled with hatred for the Thousand City of Black Jade. He swore in his early years that he would definitely tear the Thousand City of Black Jade into pieces when he reached the pinnacle. The Mo clan would never allow such a person to exist. Back then, the Mo clan only expelled him from the clan. It was too easy for him. According to Mo Xian's character, he should have torn him into pieces so that he wouldn't be able to reincarnate. Only by doing so could he vent his hatred. The matter of his parents and the humiliation of the Thousand City of Black Jade had always been a scar in Mo Xian's heart. Although he wouldn't mention it, there would always be people talking about it behind his back. This was also the reason why he had such a deep grudge against the Thousand City of Black Jade. Originally, he shouldn't care about the matters of the previous generation. However, it had already threatened his existence and caused him to lose his face. It became a stain in his life. He couldn't blame his parents, so he could only blame the Thousand City of Black Jade. Mo Xian didn't expect that this reckless Thousand City of Black Jade would take the initiative to send itself to him. This was too exciting. He had to teach him a lesson. It was impossible for him to return to the Mo clan. On the city wall, countless people of the Mo clan were looking forward to it. They were discussing among themselves. All of them were looking at the genius disciple who had left the Mo clan 100,000 years ago. Now, he had already become a supreme divine emperor expert. Moreover, he brought along his powerful juniors to return to the Mo clan. To him, this was undoubtedly a good opportunity. Looks like the Thousand City of Black Jade is really going to return to the Mo clan this time. I'm afraid that even our Mo clan won't look down on such a powerful force. It's not easy to gather such a powerful force in 100,000 years. Our Mo family's talent is indeed not bad. Even if that's the case, back then, the Thousand Black Jade City was expelled from the Mo clan. Do you think that everyone can stroll around so leisurely? Is our Mo family a place where others can come and go as they please? That's true. After all, tens of thousands of years have passed since then. Who can say for sure who was in the right and who was in the wrong? It all depends on how the higher-ups of our Mo family deal with it. Ha ha ha, I don't look favorably upon this Thousand City of Ink Jade. Back then, he was expelled from the Mo clan. If it was because of some petty act, then it could still be forgiven. But, he defiled his sister-in-law. If this matter were to spread out, how would outsiders view our Mo clan? Wouldn't they say that we didn't discipline them well and that we allowed our disciples to do as they pleased? In any case, I can't stand this kind of person. Scum, there's no need for him to return to the Mo family and acknowledge his ancestors. Dream on. Don't be so harsh with your words. How much do we know about what happened back then? Don't make things worse. This Thousand City of Ink Jade brought more than 20 Divine Emperor Realm experts with him just to show off his strength. Now is the time for manpower. Can the Mo clan give up on such a big piece of meat? The people of the Mo clan couldn't help but sigh. Everyone had different opinions. The return of the Thousand City of Ink Jade City would undoubtedly set off a wave in the Mo clan. Jiang Chen stood on the void. It might not be easy for him to go to the Ink City. At least, he would have to wait until Moling Dongchen and the others entered the Mo clan. Jiang Chen did not want to talk to Moling Dongchen too much. After all, he was carrying a heavy burden. There was not much that he could give to her now. When he had finished everything, he would definitely give her an explanation. In the past, his words had angered Moling Dongchen. He did not know if this guy would continue to be angry with him. Jiang Chen sighed, a myriad of emotions welling up in his heart. The most unforgettable thing was lovesickness. The most difficult thing to comprehend was the human heart. The most difficult thing to return was the feelings. Jiang Chen knew that he owed a lot of people. However, the only person he could not let go was Xiao Yu. Even if he had to betray everyone in the world, he would never betray Xiao Yu. The Thousand City of Ink Jade City's heart was heavy. He was extremely nervous. Who would the Mo clan send to meet him? Would they let him return to the Mo clan and acknowledge his ancestors? Or would they still expel him from the Mo city and never let him return? All these were a mystery in the heart of the Thousand City of Ink Jade City. It was something that he could not let go of. Everything that happened in the past was because of the bewitching potion that Yan Ying had poured on him. If it was not because his heart was not calm, he would not have ended up like this. However, everything was a trap set by Mo Yang Kue. How could he know that she was his sister-in-law? Everything that happened in the past was just a fight for that genius position. However, it had caused him to fall into an irrecoverable situation. The Thousand City of Ink Jade City had no regrets. To put it bluntly, he had fallen into a honey trap. However, he really did not know that Yan Ying was his sister-in-law. When he found out about it, it was already too late. Everything had turned into a scam. Yan Ying's tearful complaint made him completely disheartened. From the beginning to the end, it was a well-designed trap. The Thousand City of Ink Jade City sighed in his heart. He did not want to talk about the past anymore. He just wanted to return to the Mo clan and acknowledge his ancestors. This was his only wish. Thousand City of Ink Jade, You bastard! Come out now! After an explosive shout, a thin man appeared in a flash. It was Mo Xian from before, the genius disciple of the Mo clan and the head guard of the city. Mo Xian's arrival caused another uproar. Because he was the son of the thousand city of Ink Jade City that had humiliated his parents all those years ago. Such a situation caused the sky above the entire Mo city to be filled with a deep meaning, and it was even to the extent that it was filled with the smell of war. Interesting. Haha. Mo Xian has arrived. Looks like the thousand city of Ink Jade won't have a good time. Exactly. Alas, I think it is probably impossible for the thousand city of Ink Jade to return this time. His mother was humiliated all those years ago, and it is an extremely deep hatred. Most importantly, Mo Xian has heard many people discussing this matter behind his back. It is obvious that he will definitely vent his anger on the thousand city of Ink Jade. That is understandable. The show is about to begin. Let's see who will be the final winner. Chapter 3743. Similar. They're too similar. Thousand City of Black Jade murmured. Whether it was her brows or the expression in her eyes, they were too similar to Yanning back then. It even caused Thousand City of Black Jade to feel a little disappointed. But after all, so many years had passed and he had already gotten over it. Today, he had returned only to return to the Mo clan. He had no other thoughts. Even if others didn't say it, Thousand City of Black Jade could also recognize that this person before him was definitely Yan Ying's close relative. Old fart, you still dare to return? My Mo clan doesn't welcome you. You shameless thing. You still dare to brazenly say that you want to return to the Mo clan? That's impossible. Dream on. Do you know who I am? I am the son of Mo Yang Kuei and Yan Ying. Back then, my parents didn't kill you, so you should have scrammed far away. But now, you actually don't know what's good for you and want to return to your clan? What a fool's dream. I, Mo Xian, will definitely crush your bones and scatter your ashes to take revenge for what happened back then. My parents are benevolent, but it doesn't mean that I'm benevolent too. Since you're all descendants of the Mo clan, then you're all descendants of this shameless old fart. I'll take care of all of you at the same time, lest you, old fart, leave behind a despicable son of a bitch. Mo Xian shouted. His expression was cold and the smile on his face was extremely sinister. Every single word he said pierced through people's hearts. At that moment, Thousand City of Black Jade's body was even trembling non-stop. Good. What a good old fart. You're truly Mo Yang Kuei's son. There's nothing you wouldn't do. In the end, I'm still your uncle. Thousand City of Black Jade frowned. His hands were trembling slightly, and his heart was filled with anger. After all, he was the son of Yan Ying and his elder brother. But at this moment, he actually said such despicable words to provoke him. This caused Thousand City of Black Jade's heart to be incomparably hurt. However, gossip was a fearful thing. Mo Xian had probably heard about what happened back then, so it was understandable for him to oppose him. Furthermore, this time, Thousand City of Black Jade wanted to return to his clan. He knew that there would definitely be a vicious speech. But he didn't expect that the person who would teach him a lesson would be their son. Even if my grandfather did something wrong, it's not up to you to lecture him. Furthermore, how much do you know about what happened back then? How dare you spout nonsense here without any respect for your elders? Is this how your parents raised you? In my opinion, your father isn't a good person either. Moling Dongchen's beautiful eyes flickered and her anger rose. She stared at Mo Xian with high fighting spirit. TSK. What a beauty. It's a pity that her mouth is not forgiving. You have no right to lecture my parents. Little kid, if you want to fight with me, I will accompany you to the end. At that time, I'm afraid that you'll become the person by my bedside, waiting on me to wash my feet, eat and drink every day, ha ha ha. Mo Xian laughed and said. Moling Dongchen clenched her fists tightly. She really wanted to cut this arrogant and conceited Mo Xian into 1,000 pieces. Mo Xian was so arrogant and conceited. You're courting death. Moling Dongchen was furious. But she was stopped by Thousand City of Black Jade because he didn't come back to fight today. At least, he couldn't do anything now. He came back to acknowledge his ancestors so that the people of the Mo family would have someone to rely on. Thousand City of Black Jade was angrier than anyone else. However, he still suppressed the anger in his heart. Since you've been expelled from the Mo family, you have nothing to do with the Mo family. Do you still want to stand on the dignity of your ancestors and challenge me? Now, you're just a passerby in front of me. No. You should be an enemy. An enemy that I must kill. Mo Xian's eyes were extremely cold and murderous. Facing Thousand City of Black Jade, he showed no mercy. So what if Mo Xian was his uncle? This sanctimonious and shameless person. It was already very kind of him not to execute him on the spot. Today, I'm here to look for the master of the Mo family. Please let him know that I don't want to have any conflict with you. Even if we want to solve the grudges of the previous generation, it's not up to you to say anything. Thousand City of Black Jade said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. He looked calm, but the anger that he was suppressing in his heart could only be seen by Jiang Chen. His eyes were also filled with anger. However, the situation was worse than him. If he wanted to return to the Mo family, he could only swallow his anger. Facing Mo Xian's accusation, he could only deal with it calmly. Otherwise, the situation would be even more unsightly. The people behind Thousand City of Black Jade were also eager to try. They were very annoyed by Mo Xian's rude words and wanted to have a life-and-death battle with him. However, at this moment, even the master of the Mo family had calmed down. So they could only choose to remain silent. Being in someone else's house, one had to lower one's head. Thousand City of Black Jade's forbearance was right. Even Jiang Chen had to admit that Thousand City of Black Jade was really forbearing. After all, he didn't come to the Mo family to create trouble. He just wanted to return to his homeland and gain the recognition of his family. Ha, you want to see the master? What a joke. You're simply dreaming. Who are you? Who do you think you are? What identity do you use to come and see my Mo family's master? Do you think that your strength is extraordinary and you can challenge my Mo family? Do you think that you can continue to be the accomplice of the evildoer and be arrogant? Why would my Mo family's master want to see an irrelevant person like you? You are no longer a member of the Mo family. If you dare to take half a step forward, it will be a provocation to the Mo family. I can completely activate the Mo attack and kill you here. Mo Xian said in a deep voice. His gaze was burning as it met with Thousand City of Black Jade. Both of their gazes were complicated and it was hard to understand. Master, why are you still wasting words with him? We can just directly kill this bastard. I don't believe that the Mo family's master won't come out. That's right. He's really too arrogant. Why do we have to suffer such humiliation? Kill our way to the Mo family and we will support you as the master. This fellow doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Let me teach this bastard a lesson, master. The people behind Thousand City of Black Jade were all eager to give it a try. They wanted to compete with Mo Xian. All of you shut up. Thousand City of Black Jade took a deep breath. He stared fixedly at Mo Xian and said in a deep voice, "Just what will it take for you to make me go and see the master?" Thousand City of Black Jade knew that Mo Xian was purposely making things difficult for him. It was nothing more than seeking a battle with him. However, he came to acknowledge his ancestors and not to fight. Hence, Thousand City of Black Jade had been silently enduring Mo Xian's overbearing manner. However, he realized that it was impossible for him to continue enduring. This person would only endlessly force him. Thousand City of Black Jade was already prepared to fight. If you defeat me, you can walk over and see the master. But if you lose, then I will personally kill you. Chapter 3744. It seems like I guessed it right. Mo Xian will not let go of the Thousand Black Jade City so easily. It seems like a big battle is unavoidable. You're right. The Thousand Black Jade City is going against Mo Xian. This battle must be very exciting. One of them is an old man and one of them is a young man. Hehe. Mo Xian's attitude towards the Thousand Black Jade City has explained everything. Today, one of them will definitely die here. As for who it will be, I'm afraid no one knows. Since the Thousand Black Jade City has chosen to take action, he will definitely not show any mercy. Mo Xian has provoked him several times before. Even I can't stand it anymore. This battle must be a life-and-death battle between the two of them. The people of the Mo family were looking forward to this battle. Mo Xian was the new genius of the Mo family. Compared to the 1,000 Black Jade City, no one knew who was stronger. Both of them were in the middle or late stage of Empty God Realm. No one would be convinced. This battle was destined to be extremely tragic and exciting. All right, I will fulfill your wish. The 1,000 Black Jade City nodded slightly. Their eyes met and a life-and-death battle instantly broke out. Grandpa, be careful. Moling Dongchen looked at this scene worriedly. Although his grandfather was very powerful, the other party was not easy to deal with. Moreover, he would never allow him to intervene in this matter. This was his own business. His grandfather had said that he would take back what he had lost with his own hands. Now that he had returned to the Mo family, the first person he would have to face was the son of Mo Yongkue and Yan Ying. For the 1,000 Black Jade City, it was full of crisis. He had to fight a beautiful battle and let everyone in the Mo family see whether the person who was expelled from the Mo family was qualified to return. Old man, today I will kill you on behalf of my mother. You will never be able to reincarnate. Mo Xian was very angry. The anger in his heart had already spread all over his body. No one could stop him. No one could defeat him. As a genius disciple of the Mo family, he wanted to make the 1,000 Black Jade City feel hopeless in this battle. The new generation excels the old. You will definitely die today. Mo Xian and the 1,000 City of Black Jade exchanged blows in an instant. Terrifying aura pervaded the entire Mo city. Shadows filled the vast sky and divine lights covered the sky. Both of them had already disregarded everything and rushed forward. Each of their moves was ruthless and each of their punches hit the target's flesh. The 1,000 City of Black Jade was once the most dazzling genius of the Mo clan. Even Mo Xian's father couldn't compare to him. Although Mo Xian was strong, he was still showing off his abilities too much. He didn't know how to fight while moving forward. However, if he couldn't take down the 1,000 City of Black Jade in one go, his situation would be worrying. Jiang Chen silently watched this battle. Could he join the battle? He could. But the 1,000 Black Jade City had suffered for 100,000 years. It was meaningless. Jiang Chen could only wait. He could leave the battle. He would. He wanted to go. After. Xian. After. Mo. He. However, Jiang Chen did not want to be involved in this matter. This was the Mo family's matter. Moling Dongchen and the others were very cautious. After all, they were in someone else's territory. It was understandable for them to be worried about their patriarch. However, the 1,000 Black Jade City was advancing by retreating. Compared to Mo Xian's ferociousness, his advance and retreat were very orderly. He was as steady as Mount Tai. This was the formless aura that he was proud of. 3,000 Sword Rain. Mo Xian clenched his fist and made a hand seal. The Mo family's attacking technique was unleashed. The sword rain was sharp and domineering. As the strongest genius of the Mo family, it was impossible for him to be a nobody. If he did not have any real ability, how could he dare to challenge the 1,000 Black Jade City? The 1,000 Black Jade City was also very solemn. However, he had already seen through Mo Xian's every move. The 1,000 Black Jade City knew about the Mo family's abilities. Moreover, he was more meticulous than anyone else. Gradually, Mo Xian's attacks were hindered. It was quite difficult for him. The 1,000 Black Jade City wanted to win in a stable manner. He had pulled Mo Xian into his formation. Mo Xian was enraged. He fought with all his might. However, the 1,000 Black Jade City did not give him any chance. The 1,000 Black Jade City's attacks were powerful. No matter how Mo Xian resisted, there was no effect at all. Mo Xian felt hopeless for the first time in his life. This 1,000 Black Jade City was too cunning. Mo Xian seemed to have foreseen all of Mo Xian's moves. Mo Xian had learned all the abilities of the Mo family. Mo Xian seemed to be more skillful in dealing with Mo Xian. Bastard! Old man! Get lost! Mo Xian roared. His voice was hoarse. His footsteps were getting more and more chaotic. At this moment, Mo Xian had already lost his mind. He was a peerless genius. He was the core of the Mo family. He was also one of the few experts in the Nantung Divine region. How could he be defeated by the 1,000 Black Jade City? Moreover, it was such a pity. He was not willing to see this scene. He was invincible. He was a late Divine Emperor realm expert. Even in the Mo family, there were not many who could defeat him. As a genius, he was defeated by a sinner of the Mo family. How could he have any face left? Mo Xian tried to break through the suppression of the 1,000 Black Jade City. However, it was to no avail. Instead, it was as if he was stuck on a big net. It was difficult for him to advance or retreat. If this continued, Mo Xian knew that he would definitely lose. Not good. I'm afraid that Mo Xian is not a match for the 1,000 Black Jade City. The older the wiser. This 1,000 Black Jade City is really not easy to deal with. Yeah. Looks like Mo Xian's life is not going to be easy. If this continues, Mo Xian has no chance of winning. He's being hindered everywhere. All of Mo Xian's abilities were seen through by the 1,000 Black Jade City. This is bad. Everyone was paying attention to this scene. Whether it was Moling Dongchen or the people on the Mo City, they were all looking forward to this battle. If the 1,000 Black Jade City could not defeat Mo Xian, it would be impossible for them to return to the Mo family. Therefore, the 1,000 Black Jade City was very confident in this battle. They did not intend to leave any chance for Mo Xian. 9 Dragons Ascension of Ink Attack. Mo Xian's fist and palm collided. The ink attack soared into the sky. 9 dragons wreaked havoc in the sky and surrounded the 1,000 Black Jade City. Its momentum was great and its power was boundless. Ink Attack Heavenly Movement Technique. The 1,000 City of Black Jade stirred the wind and clouds as it tore through space, causing the countless dragon images in the sky to disappear in an instant. They were completely scattered by the wind and clouds that filled the sky. Mo Xian vomited a mouthful of blood as he retreated. He was in a sorry state and his heart was filled with sorrow. Chapter 37:45. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Mo Xian roared in rage. His attacks changed once more, but they were completely useless against the 1,000 Black Jade City. Every single one of his movements was locked down by the 1,000 Black Jade City. Mo Xian was in complete despair. The 1,000 Black Jade City was seizing the initiative in every aspect. He had no chance to attack at all. Even when he was on the defensive, he couldn't retaliate at all. Your father also lost to me in the past. He couldn't break the same technique. The 1,000 Black Jade City said proudly. The father and son lost to the same person. Mo Xian was so angry that he spurted out blood and staggered away. Bastard! Bastard, you old man, I won't rest until you're dead. I will kill you to avenge my mother and clear my father's name. You shameless bastard! My Mo family will never tolerate such a shameless person like you. Mo Xian roared like a beast. He was like a mad bull and rushed towards the 1,000 Black Jade City. However, he was already an arrow at the end of its flight. It was hard for him to turn the situation around. If he continued to fight, he would only humiliate himself. The 1,000 Black Jade City did not severely injure him because of his parents. How could he complain about his injustice? However, in his point of view, he even owed them. What kind of logic was this? The 1,000 Black Jade City sighed and wanted to force Mo Xian to retreat again. Even though Mo Xian was aggressive, he did not have the intention to kill him. However, it did not mean that Moling Dongchen did not have the intention to kill him. Even the 1,000 Black Jade City did not expect that his granddaughter would stab Mo Xian from the back with her sword and kill him directly. She had pierced through his soul. Dongchen. The 1,000 Black Jade City's pupil shrunk and sighed. However, it was too late at this moment. Moling Dongchen's attack was too fast. It was completely out of the 1,000 Black Jade City's expectation. Even Mo Xian did not expect that Moling Dongchen would kill him at this moment. The people of the Mo family on the city wall were dumbfounded. Wasn't it too fast? There was no hesitation at all. He killed like a shadow and cut through the Gordian knot. Mo Xian, who was already heavily injured, fought with his life on the line. He knew that the 1,000 Ink Jade City would definitely not kill him. Even if he lost, he would definitely make the other party pay the price. However, Moling Dongchen wasn't that easy to deal with. Mo Xian had put the 1,000 Black Jade City in danger several times before. Moreover, he was rude to Mo Xian. He didn't show any respect to his seniors and had been humiliating and oppressing Moling Dongchen. Moling Dongchen's anger had already been aroused. At this moment, how could Moling Dongchen care so much? It would be strange if she could remain calm when her grandfather was being scolded and insulted like that. Moling Dongchen's attack was as fast as lightning. He did not intend to give Mo Xian any chance. He even crushed Mo Xian's soul completely. That sword was simply earth-shattering. Everyone in Mo City was dumbfounded. Mo Xian's death was a great humiliation to the Mo family. Even though he was killed by a member of the Mo family, this so-called member of the Mo family was an old man who had been expelled from the family. What should we do? Mo Xian is dead. What are we going to do? If he blames us, we won't be able to absolve ourselves from the blame. Everyone will have to bear the consequences. I never expected that the little girl of the Mo family to be so ruthless. Steward Mo Xian is dead. This time, all of us will be in trouble. Sigh, why is there a need for that? General Manager Mo Xian is really too eager to excel. Now, he has actually been plotted against by those traitors of the Mo family. If that's the case, it really does make one sigh in regret. Hurry up. Go and report to the elders. Tell them that someone trespassed into Mo City and Steward Mo Xian is dead. For a moment, the Mo City was in a mess. However, Moling Dongchen still looked calm. Jiang Chen's lips curved into a faint smile. This girl is still so stubborn and she still abhors evil. Especially when it happened to her grandfather. If she could be indifferent to Mo Xian's scolding, it would not be her character. Jiang Chen knew that today's matter would not be solved easily. Although the Thousand Black Jade City wanted to return to the Mo family, Moling Dongchen was not the kind of person who would be willing to be bullied by others. You are too reckless. The Thousand Black Jade City poked Moling Dongchen's head fiercely, but he was reluctant to slap her. Grandpa, this kind of reckless guy. What's there to feel pity about killing him? I don't believe that the Mo family can't distinguish right from wrong. Then, why should we return to the family? Moling Dongchen said in a deep voice. Ridiculous. Shut up. Thousand Ink Jade City was finally furious. Moling Dongchen did not dare to say anything more, because they had to bear all the responsibility for Mo Xian's death. Moreover, it was almost impossible for Mo Xian to return to the Mo family. The Mo family would definitely not allow him to leave. Moreover, Mo Xian was his junior. Dongchen really can't stand it anymore. Father, he has provoked us time and time again. He even wants to trample us into the ground. How can we bow down to him like this? We are here to return to the family, not to acknowledge him as our ancestor. Dongchen can't stand this bastard's provocation and humiliation. We, the Mo family, must not sit still and wait for death. Yes, master. We must not sit still and wait for death. That bastard has humiliated us like this. I will never agree to it. I won't agree. Although Moling Dongchen didn't say anything, her third uncle spoke up for her. Even Thousand Ink Jade City let out a sigh. Needless to say, even he felt elated and satisfied after killing Mo Xian. However, killing Mo Xian couldn't solve the problem. Instead, it would only intensify the conflict. It had become impossible for them to acknowledge their ancestors and return to their ancestral land. Who doesn't know the truth? However, if we don't swallow this humiliation, how can we return to the Mo family? A branch is a branch after all. We are the people of the Mo family when we are alive, and we will be the ghosts of the Mo family when we die. The Thousand Black Jade City said firmly. Everyone stopped talking. However, they all knew that they must advance and retreat together with the master of the Mo family, regardless of life or death. Now that Moling Dongchen had killed Mo Xian, the situation was hopeless. He knew that no matter what he did, he would not be able to save the situation. From the looks of it, their trip to the Mo family this time around would ultimately end in failure. Moling Dongchen was decisive in killing Mo Xian. This would definitely arouse the anger of the entire Mo family. Ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. The Thousand Black Jade City was struggling in his heart. However, if the Mo family held him accountable, he would definitely exchange his life for Moling Dongchen's. As the master of the Mo family's branch, he would not be able to escape the blame. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.